Hey, hello and welcome to 3D Printing and Painting, 3D HP. I thought I'd do an afternoon live stream. I see a few other people are streaming, one's finishing up, and I figured I'd jump on. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be playing here at 5:20, and I want to watch that game, so I'll stream up until game time. And the Las Vegas Raiders just beat the Panthers, so that was kind of nice. Hey, how's it going? I can't pronounce your name. Dels Logos 3D printing. Dels Logos, I think. How you doing? I have to go up on Twitter here and post this real quick. Now here it is right here. Let me post this. 1 second. Oop, that's not it. Bear with me for a second, guys. Facebook user, hello. There should be an accept thing above the thing on Facebook where you click it if Facebook is working right, and then I can see your name. So I'm not sure who this is. I see StreamYard says Facebook's having trouble. Let me recatch this link. I can put it up on Twitter. I guess that's it. I don't know. I don't know why that keeps popping up. That's strange. Paste it again. Nope. It ain't popping up the YouTube link. Non-fam, how you doing? I don't know why it's happening. Oh, here it is. And now it popped up. Okay, there it is. Let me tweet that. And let me pop out chat. I don't like having myself open. The second screen's delayed like 20 seconds. And looks kind of funny. There we go. Yep. Hey, non-fam. Hello, Facebook user. Oh, Derek. Hey, Derek. How's it going? I know two Dereks. I know one in Texas, and I know one overseas. Well, and you know, pretty good. So I was watching the Raiders game on TV earlier, and I got a box light in front of me. I put cardboard around it. So it was a box light. It was 2 foot by 2 foot, really bright white, and I made a small hole in it so it focuses more light on me. And I used black tape, taped it together. My wife says that looks like shit, so I got some black spray paint, and I took it outside and sprayed the cardboard black so it looks better, rather than buying another light of some sort to focus light on me. If anybody would like to jump in, let me post an invite. Copy this. Here, I'll put this in chat. If anybody wants to come hang out. You're overseas, okay. Anyway, that's sitting there in chat. So at some point here in a minute, we'll probably get somebody pop in, or somebody will see it and want to come hang out, and then I'll chit chat. And when I done my live stream, I think it was Friday, I went live. I streamed for a little over 4 hours, and boy, we had a bunch of people in the stream talking about anything and everything that was hobby related, and the time really flew. But since I want to watch a Dallas game, because I like Dallas, even though they start out great every year, and then they tend to lose, maybe this will be a better year. Everything else went wrong this year, so maybe they'll play some good football. But the Las Vegas Raiders did win earlier, and that was cool. They played the Carolina Panthers. Scott Latine, how you doing, Scott? If you'd like to come and hang out, Scott, you're very welcome. I have a link there in the chat. I one of my CR10s, the board has went out twice in it, and I've replaced the board in it twice. I've had steppers go bad in it. So this time I bought a Big Tree Tech SKR 1.3 version 2, and I put in my CR10. Downloaded all the correct Marlin files and the examples, and I couldn't get it to compile properly, and I was missing a file that I overlooked. And Jim Sellers, a friend of mine on Facebook, and Mad Monkey, both were going to recompile it for me. And for some reason, they couldn't get it to compile. And Jim Sellers worked on it for quite a while, and he couldn't get it to compile, couldn't get it to work. So something was wrong with Marlin from Big Tree Tech, what they modified. So I got on TH3D's website yesterday, ordered 2 of Tim's the easy boards. I'm an affiliate for them, so I use my affiliate money, which burned up all my affiliate money, and I got 2 boards coming, and I just had to pay for shipping. So they'll be here in a couple days. I'll do an install video on one of my CR10s, and then I'll put his easy boards in both of them. Then the new Big Tree Tech board is only $20, so I'll just put it back in the box and put it on the shelf and use it for another project, maybe in one of my enders at some point in time. We'll have to wait and see. So, but if you didn't see my stream Friday, I don't remember if I had the lights done Friday or not. I think I did. I've got different colored neon lights behind me, and when you play music or when I talk, they can change colors and blink. And I have a stream deck that I've had for probably 6 to 8 months. I don't have it working properly. I have to go through and get it working right. So whenever I get a super chat from somebody, I can hit a button and they'll blink or do something different. That'll be kind of cool. But yeah, Tim's streaming right now. Who else is streaming? The 3D Print Belgium. He should be wrapping up. Him and his wife are streaming. He built a printer. And I see Joe Telling and a bunch of people, Chris Riley and a bunch of people stopped in and chat over on his stream. And then Tim is streaming. Justin T stopped in and is hanging out with Tim on his stream on the Tim Hoogland channel. So I figured, why not? I'll stream too. I was going to do it later, but the Cowboys are playing later, and I'd like to watch your first game to see how they did, since there was no preseason. So maybe it'll go good. And recently I tested some ZYLTECH PLA, GEEE Tech off of Amazon. They sent me a couple spools to try out. Or I ordered a couple spools. They reimbursed me within 24 hours, and I got it in the mail. And it's kind of hard to see on camera, but here's a Albert Einstein. Came out pretty good. The PLA printed pretty nice. Here's a Santa Claus I did for my wife. And let's see, of course I got a Benchy. There's a few layer lines on here. I got to tweak the Ender 3 V2. And I had some other PLA, Sunloop PLA I was working with. I have a sunken Benchy. You sit on the table, looks like it's sunk. I dropped it in S3D and I dropped it down through the bed. And anyway. Tyler West, how you doing? Hey, Tyler, if you have time, you're welcome to stop in. Anybody would like to jump in, I've got a link there in chat. If you don't see it, I can repost it. Oh, yeah, I'm just kind of hanging out, talking anything to do with 3D printing or hobby related. I don't try to go off key too much and start talking about sex or politics or none of that. It's kind of not for my channel. So even on Hangouts, but last Friday, I think I had 6 or 7 people that popped in eventually. And then right near the end of my stream, somebody popped in and I didn't know who it was, and they didn't have their audio or their mic going, and they wanted me to share the screen. So I went ahead. They didn't pop in and didn't talk. So I booted them out, and then I ended the stream. Come to find out, that was my son trying to drop in. He was online playing a game, and he wanted to share his game up in the little window while he was playing. I didn't know that was my son. So I said, well, next time, call me on the phone or PM me or something. Okay. Well, that's cool, Tyler. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to, like I say, I stream, live stream every Tuesday or Wednesday when I have a guest on, depending on who's available and what their schedule is. And then I have Hangouts multiple times a week. Michael Talbot on Facebook. Hello, how you doing? I sure wish that Facebook and YouTube was more integrated, because if so many people watch my video on YouTube or give me a like it doesn't account for my numbers if everybody watches on Facebook. But it's up. But I'm the one that's pasting on. I'm posting this right now on my group on Facebook and then on my Facebook page. So, and then I'm trying to figure out Twitch. I just logged on to Twitch earlier, trying to figure out how to set that up. So maybe at some point I can stream to Twitch, my Facebook group, and then to YouTube. Things are good here in Austin Bunker, catching up on issues today. Well, I hope you take time off, Scott, and you don't work all the time. I know Marlin's a big part of your life and everything you're doing, but I hope you have time for just to hang out with your family, and you don't answer your phone or get on the computer at least once in a while, because sometimes it gets kind of overwhelming. And I haven't PM'd anybody to let them know I'm on, so maybe they'll randomly, if they're subscribed to me, I'm sure their phone probably went ding, and they'll know that I'm on, and if they got a minute, maybe they'll pop in and hang out. So, And well, my vape pen's messing up. Yeah, my only crutch is my vape pen. I used to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, 1 pack, pack and a half, 2 packs, working construction most of my life, and then I started coughing and hacking, and I got to where I couldn't hardly breathe. But I'd walk up a flight of stairs, so I quit smoking. I went to vaping. All that went away. I can breathe fine. Sure, it's still smoke. It has chemicals. It has nicotine in it, but it was 1,000 times better than cigarettes. So if you got to do something, vaping is better than cigarettes. You got to maintain the batteries, the coils, and things like that, and buy juice. But so I don't do drugs. I don't do hard liquor. I drink beer once in a blue moon. So, and that has nothing to do with 3D printing, like I was just talking about. I'll pop that up when I see it. We got like a 15 or 20-second delay. Yeah, here it is. But yeah, my Hypercube, I had a clog in it when I was printing with some Sunloop PLA at the beginning of the week. Um, it has a B6 style hot end on it, and then it has the extruder is Titan Clone, I think it's called, from TH3D, or the Tough extruder he calls it. I have that on it, and I had a major clog, and I haven't bothered to fix it yet. I need to get that figured out because I was printing a base to a Chucky statue, and I got up about that far with it, like I had one of my videos, and then I got a bad clog. Everything turned spongy, and I had to stop the print. I just haven't taken time to work on the printer yet. And then one of my CR10s, like I said, I'm putting a board in it. It's down right now. Oh, anyway, 2 nights ago when I was streaming Friday night, I drank a Monster Energy drink. So I was tired. That was a mistake. Then I had one of my wife's sodas after that, and then I couldn't sleep all night. I was up and down. I couldn't sleep. So yesterday I was kind of a zombie, and then I got my second wind, and then my back kind of feels numbish in my back. My left arm isn't numb or nothing like that, so it's not a stroke. But I noticed my shoulder blade and down here it doesn't feel exactly like this side. So I guess that's just from getting too tired or something. I do take high blood pressure medicine, but hello, Don, German 3D printing nerd. Glad to see you. Anyway, yeah. So just hanging out, chit chatting, and whenever somebody drops in, we can have more of a conversation, and this will be more interesting. If anybody would like to drop in and hang out and chat, there's the link right there. Um, what else? Wednesday night at 5 p.m., I'm having Chris Taylor on, Nerys over at My 3D Print, I think it's called, his channel, if I said that correctly. He'll be on at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday. Nerys is a great guy. He's got a zillion videos and he streams all week long. He's always building something or doing something. A few days ago, he put together a laser printer. We're playing with that. And then Jim over at the Edge of Tech is going to be coming out with some of his videos on his laser printer, or he did. He came out with at least one, and he had some really cool prints he's been posting. He's been etching in tiles, ceramic tiles, and he's doing something with some kind of a paper or plastic. I'm not sure quite what that is yet. I haven't seen a video on it, but that's real interesting. And my CNC, my mostly printed CNC machine in the garage, it's 3 foot by 3 foot. Since it started getting hot here in Vegas, and my wife went out of town for a couple months, I kind of quit working on it. But it's done. I just have to do the firmware on it. I've got everything all wired up. And then once the firmware's going, then I can check to make sure I got my plugs in the right order and everything's moving properly. And then I'll start making some wood carvings and doing videos on that. Or I'll actually set up a camera in the garage and do some live streams. And I've got a few companies that are sending me some different products. So if certain things show up, I'll probably do a live stream, kind of like a Chris Riley type thing. We'll have my camera set up and I'll talk to chat while I'm building. So we'll see how that goes. So anyway, my health is I'm feeling a lot better with my health. So I want to go. That's kind of the way I've been my whole life until I retired and slowed way down and started having some issues. And now I'm kind of getting back to want to go. My patio out back, I posted a video a few days ago on Facebook. I'm going to enclose my patio. when I bought this house, when you walk out the sliding glass door, there's a patio underneath the house before you walk in onto the patio that I built that has a pergola attached to the back of the house. I'm going to put up a wall right there with a door, and then I'll probably put a doggy door in it for the dogs with no window in the room because the upper half of the door will have windows. And then I'll have a paint room out there for any airbrushing that I do, and I'll put all my resin stuff out there. Yeah, MPCNC. I think they just came out with a newer version over the last month or two where they changed the design a little bit. But I made mine off the one that they've had around for a couple of years at b1engineering.com. I think the man's name is Vicious, or it used to be. I think the channel used to be called that. But yeah, that's what I built. I got a couple of videos I posted on my progress. So I printed all the parts in PETG. I guess a lot of people have done them in PLA. I think PETG it will hold it better to the heat in the garage in the summertime. Even though it's insulated, it still gets pretty warm out there. And we'll see how it goes once I get it done. Then I put an enclosure around it to try to muffle the sound, which is going to be really loud in the garage for the neighbors. You know, like running a skill saw or router. You know, they scream and make noise. I went with a Makita router on it. I didn't want to buy a quiet, what do you call it in China? Spindle? Yeah, a spindle's a lot quieter, but they don't have as much power as a regular router like from Makita. But I'm not an authority at all on MPCNC. I just built it and I haven't done any test prints or got it going yet. So that's my bad for not getting it done. So, but I dabble in a lot of things like my wife will tell you, he prints, and you don't ever paint anything. So yeah, I paint a little bit, but I print, and it's always something going on. And a day just kind of gets away from you. And like I've said in the past, people that have a job, be lucky you're not retired because when you have a job, you got a watch on or you got your cell phone that you're always checking, thinking, wow, when do I get to go home? This day is really dragging on. But when you're retired, the days just fly by. You don't have to check your watch, and you watch a couple of shows on Netflix or eat lunch, and now it's late, and your day's just about over. Hello, Brody. How you doing? Nice to see you. Thank you for stopping in. I don't have really nothing special. I'm just kind of hanging out, chatting, and when more people drop in with me, I've got a link there in the chat. We can have more conversations going. So that's why I've got my blue lights on behind me. I put some RGB lights on all my shelves and underneath the counter where the hypercube is sitting. It's about, I don't know, 30 foot long. I've got a light string under there also. And if you haven't seen it before, here's a picture of my dogs. They're my mascots at the house. The brown one is Sandy, brown and white. She's part, I think, terrier and boxer. And Nikita's a black one. She's Jack Russell, what I call her, part black lab and part Jack Russell. That's what I determined by the way they look and their sizes. So, but they're really good dogs. And then my messy hobby room that I'm currently sitting in is here's what this looks like. So that's where I'm sitting there in the chair, and I built an extension onto the table to have my monitor and stuff sitting back further. So that's my messy hobby room. Stuff everywhere. So let's see, what's this a picture of? Oh, there's a banner. John Mack over on he runs a company, he designs graphics for all different kinds of sporting type events and things. I sent him my logo, and he took my 3D printing and painting name that I had at the bottom, and he put it up top and laid it up there, and that came out really nice. So, and I got it. I think I got that made. I think it was like $75 shipped is what I paid for that. Got a real good price on it from John Mack. Or excuse me, Robbie Mack. My wife kept correcting me Friday. I kept saying John Mack. I don't know why I say that, but Robbie Mack made it, not John Mack, Robbie Mack. So I'm glad I finally caught myself. Facebook user, how's it going? I guess Facebook hasn't fixed it. Typically, when I post on Facebook, I'm going live. Above the video where it has all the text, there'll be a line right there, a link that you click on the link. When you click on the link, you allow Facebook to share your information with StreamYard, then I'll see your name on screen. So I'm not sure who I'm talking to unless you type your name in chat. But thank you for dropping in on Facebook. And then the people that are on YouTube watching can't see Facebook comments unless I put them on the screen. And I'm not sure if people on Facebook can see YouTube comments, but I guess probably not. So I guess I have to post all the comments so Facebook and YouTube people can see each other. Yeah, thanks, Don. Yeah, cute doggies. Yeah, the only thing bad about animals, they don't live long enough, you know. Average lifespan of most dogs and cats is like 15, 16, 17 years. That's about it. And then you have to, get another one. But they're great company. So my dogs listen to me better than my wife does. So, okay. Yeah, you might have already done that. When I started StreamYard, it said they're having trouble with Facebook. So you possibly clicked on it, but it's still not working right. It's not your fault. It's a Facebook thing. So last couple times I've streamed, I've got an error when I get ready to go live that there's some kind of Facebook problem with a video. So, hi, perhaps you post your channel link on your Facebook group and about walls. So next time I come in and join, just click on the Facebook and jump into YouTube. Yeah, I was doing that before, just putting the channel link on YouTube and reposting it that way. And then people can pop straight into YouTube. I was just letting StreamYard handle it and they're sharing it. But that's how I originally did it. I would simply go live on YouTube only, and then over on Facebook, I just copy and paste the link so people could find. But when I posted, like this morning, I made a post for Wednesday night. Yeah, Facebook has a delay. Yeah, when I see the chat in StreamYard versus watching it over here on Facebook, it's like 15, 20 seconds before I can read it in Facebook or on StreamYard. Can you SR me now? I don't understand SR. Here's the link again. I'll post it. Now, I'm assuming this link, when I pop it up, everybody should be able to see this on Facebook or YouTube, the stream link, if somebody wants to drop it and hang out. Let's see. I know somebody I can send it to. Let me see. Let me go to Facebook real quick and see if he's available. Let me see if Matthew Nicholas is available. I'll send it to him. He's probably busy working in his garage on his projects. Oh, yeah. Okay. I understand. You got it to work, Tom, and you want to know if I could see you. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I see your name. Sorry. I'm kind of dense and slow sometimes. Old age. I get real forgetful and I forget things quite often. Remember a few years back, I worked for my boss at this one company for like 10 years. And I went into the office to talk to him and I had to wait like 3 or 4 minutes. I couldn't remember his name. I was trying to think of his name so I could walk in and talk to him about something. And that's back when I used to have a job. So I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I printed another mask the other day. It has a little stringing on it. This came out really good. It's called the Anon, ANOM or AMON mask, something like that from some cartoon. And I originally had my TiVo Tarantula Pro. I had my the build volume, the height of the Z was too low, and the print got about up to here and it failed, so I had to reprint part of it, and that's another mask I finished. I'll grab it here in a minute. So this time when I printed, I just laid it way back on the TiVo, and then it printed fine. But I printed that in a blue PLA from GTech, GEEE Tech. Came out pretty good. So I want to start an Etsy store because I've got literally hundreds of models I could put up there, singly and sell them off. The problem with a lot of models, though, if they're fairly large and they're all glued together, then it'd be kind of hard to ship them in a big box without them getting damaged. So I might have to take the figure off the base and wrap them separately. And then when people get to get whatever, they can glue it back together. I haven't done it yet. It's just I've been talking about it for years, starting an Etsy store. I just haven't done it. But I need my hobby to pay for itself because my retirement doesn't bring in enough money for me to pay my bills. And I have my hobby. I have so many medical bills that it kind of burns up my money. About the middle of every month, I'm broke waiting for the first to pop around again. So, but it'll work out. Anyway, and I have a lot of printers. I have too many printers. I need to sell some of my Ender 3s locally here in Vegas, Las Vegas, and get rid of them. And then occasionally when I get stuff to review, then I get more printers. So I can always just kind of upgrade here and there and sell them. And I can't really do a giveaway on any of my printers because it'd have to be locally. So I'm not going to tear it down and ship it because shipping is too expensive. So I'm not Amazon. I can't do free shipping. Yeah, there's a delay on Facebook. It's like 15, 20 seconds. So quite a bit of delay. I can only pop up the chat on my screen once I see it in Facebook. So once you type it on my other screen in Facebook Live, I can't type it. I can respond to it faster, but I can't show it on the screen yet. So it takes a minute. And StreamYard's a great program. Anybody around the world, you don't download anything. You simply take the link that you get, and which I can post it if you want it, and you log into their server, and everything is free. They have a free version and a paid version. The only real difference is how long you can stream per month, and the on-screen logo up here in the top right where it says 3DHP, that it has their logo. So there's a few things that's kind of crippled, and you can only stream, I think, to one place on the free version. Where if you're doing the paid version at $25 a month, they have a paid and a basic and a professional. 720p is what you're watching now. If I wanted to pay $39 a month, it would be hot 1080p. But I think I look fine. You don't need to see me at 1080p. It looks good at 720p. What cooling duct you use in Ender 3s? I use Petsvang V2 off of Thingiverse. David Petzel was on my stream Friday night, and he's a designer of those. I have Petsvang V2s on all of them, and they work great. I have a 5015 fan on them, and I've never had a problem with them. And I put them in all my printers. I printed them in ABS, blue ABS. I've never had a reason to change them or try something different. They work fine. And then my new Ender 3 V2, it's all stock. The only thing I've up the hot end area is all stock on it. I haven't changed the fan on it. And the only thing I've upgraded on Ender 3 V2 are the bed springs. I went to the yellow Tupper springs. I put Capricorn tubing on it, and I changed out the extruder to an aluminum extruder. And that's all that I've done. Timothy Hoogland is working on TH3D Studios is working out the firmware issues that he's having with the different boards that Creality put in that printer. They put different boards with different drivers, whatever, on the board, and he has to work it out. And then I'll be putting an easy ABL on it and filament runout center. So now you don't have to have an easy ABL. You can go stock and level your bed once. And as long as you're not rough when you remove the print and don't jerk things around, your bed usually doesn't go out of level. And if you have a flex plate, which they sell also, you can easily take it off, pop off the model off the flex plate, and it makes it very simple to get the print off and not move your bed around. But a filament runout center, everybody needs a filament runout center. So when you can use up your whole spool, add another, or if you have a whole bunch of partial spools, you can just run them through. Once it trips the sensor, you just replace the filament, start the print again. So they're cool. Tyler West, I use a mix of a Bullseye and a Hero Me. Okay. Yeah, I know the Bullseye is okay. Yeah. I don't tinker around with a lot of different things that I download. If I usually find something that works, I usually stick with it, and I don't tend to change and try other things much. So I probably should, but I don't. And I got my one CR10 enclosure for printing ABS. I can print anything in it, just leave the door off. And then if I want to do ABS, I put the front plexiglass on it. And then I've got my Ender 3 V2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 Ender 3s. 2 or 3 of them are pros. One of them is in a box and parts that I've never put together. It needs a new board in it. And then I've got a TiVo Tarantula Pro, which works great. I got that free from TiVo last year. And other than getting it sent to me for free, it's a great printer. It works fine. I've had no issues with it. And then the 2 CR10s. And then I got a Hypercube I built from ZYLTECH. It was a kit. But I'm an affiliate for ZYLTECH, so I got a real good discount on all the parts. And, I should call it, it's a kit that are in parts, but you get no instructions. So if you have ever built a hypercube from scratch, you got to figure it out. Everything's cut to length, but when you first build one, you don't necessarily know how everything goes together in what order. So you have to watch YouTube videos and get on Thingiverse and different groups, ask questions, and eventually, once you get it done, it's working. If you ever go to build a second one, it'll be simple because you understand the steps and procedures of what you do or don't want to do. It's like when I did my videos or when anyone else done a video, quite often you'd see in their second video or the third video that they made some changes and they might have forgot to tell you about it because then they realized they had a problem or something didn't work. So they changed it. Then they done the next video. You might notice something's different. Usually they mention it. So if you ever want to build a hypercube, watch all of someone's videos or a bunch of different people's videos. Always watch the last one to see what the end result was, because otherwise you'll be building like they build, and then you might make the same mistake. And then when you watch the next video, you're like, oh, he changed that, or oh, I didn't know that. So always watch through a whole series of anything before you start a project. So anyway, if anybody would like to join in and hang out, I'm going to do this for at least 3 hours. That's not it. That's a YouTube link. Or actually, yeah, if anybody's on Facebook and you want to jump over to YouTube and like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. There's my YouTube link. If you click on that, you can jump over to YouTube. Anybody's comments, good, bad, otherwise, a thumbs up, thumbs down, everything helps in the whole rating system, their algorithm of YouTube, the way it all works. So I appreciate it. And then once this video is posted, I'll have links below in the description later on tonight where there's some cool discounts and deals and ways you can help out the channel. I'll have that posted later. Let's see. Here's the invite link again. If anybody has any questions about anything printing or painting related or anything in general, feel free to ask. I'll answer it if I can. And then if I can't answer it, there's usually going to be people in chat. Somebody will know. The 8 people that are here on YouTube, somebody will know. And however many people are watching on Facebook. Because a lot of people may be watching on Facebook and not commenting. So that I have no idea. So my relatives might even be watching and say, hey, look, there's Jerry. He's still bald and ugly. But anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I turn that knob on the back of my head every week so it tightens up my face so I don't get wrinkles. And I didn't shave. But before I do the live stream Wednesday, I'll make sure I shave my head and my face and wear a different shirt, try to look better. So I always try to present myself, you know, in live streams being kind of professional to the best of my ability. So let me pop the chat back out. I'm seeing myself on another monitor. There we go. Anyway, if anybody has a question, please feel free to ask. Here's a little, my wife wanted this little, what is it, a turtle? You set it in water and it kind of floats in water. And as you move it in the water, its head bobs up and down and its legs go back and forth. It's kind of cool. Cool little toy to put in the bathtub or something. Or my wife can put it in her bubbles when she takes a bath. I don't know. Then I printed out these fridge magnets. They look like a chess pawn without the circle on the top, like a big tack. And the bottom, since I printed them big, where the magnet goes is really large. I'll just take some epoxy sculpt putty, mix 2 parts together. You knead it real good. Knead it together like Play-Doh or clay. Put that in there and stick the rare earth magnet in it that I have. Flush it off, let it dry overnight. Then I got a fridge magnet. So to hold stuff on the fridge, you know, notes or recipes, whatever you want. Pictures of your animals, your girlfriend, whoever. So that's kind of cool. And then I printed out a Slinky. I'll consider this a functional print because you can use it rather than it sits on the shelf and go, look, that's a model or, you know, a toy or a car or whatever it is. You can still watch TV or whatever and play this. When you get old, people tend to twiddle their thumbs. Well, print them a Slinky for your grandparents. Give them a Slinky. Then they don't have to sit there and twiddle their thumbs. And then I got a golem. Let's see if you can see him. It's kind of hard to see the light on it. He came out pretty good. That's printed in what did I print that in? Sunlu white PLA. Yeah, Sunlu. And then my Chucky, I printed it little Chucky statue here. Came out pretty good. I just need to clean up the wisps here and there with a razor knife and prime him and start painting him. And then I'll have him here on my desk. He can sit on the desk here with Mini Chris Warkaki, and Mini Joel Telling. They can all hang out together. Chucky will keep them in line. Oh. I tried to print a Slinky. It printed as a big tube. Well, when I got this file, you popped it off the screen. When I got the file off of, I think it was Thingiverse I got this from, the guy said that he had trouble separating layers. So I went ahead and printed it. I took my ZYLTECH spatula, stuck it in the first layer, and when my fingernails were long, so my fingernails grow a lot, as you see in my video, I just took my fingernail underneath the one, I just kept spinning it for about 10 minutes, and they pulled right apart. So... yes and no. If you're adding an easy ABL or something from TH3D Studios, his firmware or his modifications to Marlin firmware are very easy to make changes. If you're starting from scratch, it depends what you want to do. But if you don't know where to go, I'm not an authority on Marlin at all or upgrading, modifying firmware. I have a lot of trouble every time I work with something, and I usually have to PM somebody or watch somebody's video. But yes and no. For some people, it's real easy. Some people, it's a lot harder. But if you get firmware that's been modified by somebody like TH3D Studios, and you buy their Filament Runout Center or their Easy ABL, they show you what changes to make. And if you have a 32-bit board, I believe there's already a version compiled where you can just download it and flash it to your SD card, put it in your printer, turn it on, and it reboots, and it's that easy. If you don't have a 32-bit board, you'll have to have a bootloader on your computer, and it's a little more work, but it's not hard. Once you watch a couple videos on it, you understand it, you do it for the first time, you're like, wow, that was easy. So it's kind of hard to explain until you try it. But it all depends what you want to do, but it's not rocket science. So, and there's always people to help you in the community. And if you don't know where to go, you can PM me on my Facebook group. I'll direct you to somebody. Or you can make a post in many Facebook groups and ask a question, and somebody, other than people that want to be a smart ass about it, most people will be more than happy to answer your question and give you help, or they'll PM you or direct you to a video that can help you. So I hope that helps. So, and another problem I got is I ramble on a lot or repeat myself. A lot of times I'll do a video. Even though I edit my videos, I might realize I'm repeating myself. I do that a lot. I say something that I said 5 or 10 minutes ago. So, because I'll probably talk about the Slinky again later. But then again, other people will pop in. So if I repeat myself talking about something I just showed, that's because I'm assuming other people that have came in that might want to see something, and they didn't watch a video from the beginning. So. Yeah, I'm into resin printing. I got an Elgu Mars last August, I think it was, when they first came out. And at the time, the build volume was really cool. I was printing some cool stuff. I probably printed over 100 little statues and models. And now they're coming out with their bigger resin printer. I believe it's called the Saturn, which one of my friends here in town got one, and it's like 3.5 times bigger than the Mars. It's like, wow, that's cool. I would like to get one and review it and post it on my YouTube group. And then I want a Phenon, Panoply Phenon. I would love to get one of those to review. I can't afford to buy one unless I sell a lot of models behind me and save up the money. But I would love to do a video series on the Phenon also. That would be awesome. So, anybody like to jump in and hang out and chat? There's a link for the StreamYard. There's nothing to download. Even if you're on a cell phone, you simply click on the link. It will check your camera, your microphone, you accept, and my screen goes beep, and then I let you in, and then we chat. So iPad, laptop, cell phone, doesn't matter. Oh boy. If you have any questions, please ask. I'm being kind of boring right now. I'm not building anything. This is kind of hang out and talk to chat session. And then when more people pop in, we'll have more to talk about. What else to talk about? If you got any questions about resin printing, about prints in general, my CNC in the garage, my expansion to the patio out back where I'm going to make another room, anything you can pretty much ask. You can ask about anything. I worked in construction my whole life. I was a union laborer. I've been a forklift driver, water truck driver, tool guy. I cored holes drilling concrete for many years. I ran a flat saw cutting asphalt in streets. I've done just a little bit of everything. I'm a great handyman. I do some basic electrical. I'm not licensed in any way, but I know how to work on electrical. I can replace anything on my air conditioner other than a compressor. I don't have the expertise to, working with Freon and soldering lines. I don't have the expertise to do that. I can fix pretty much anything on a car. But with all the new electronics, that's hard for anybody because you got a minor problem. It could be one of 1,000 different sensors causing a problem when it comes to electrical. But I've rebuilt engines, front ends, rear ends, body swaps, lifts on trucks. I've done a little bit of everything. So I built a huge 2-story garage out in Pahrump that everybody said looked like a house. It had a 10-12 pitch on the roof upstairs with 2 dormers and 3-car garage downstairs with a separate workshop that was attached to the same building. A wall in between had a bathroom in it. I ordered some plans off of eBay years ago, 2 pieces of paper, and I turned that into a huge garage on 2.5 acres. But I no longer own it. I sold it. So I've done a little bit of everything. And I haven't been out in the sun much this year. I had a lot of health problems last year and had surgery a couple times, and it was hell. So I'm getting over that. Now I take Humira shots every 2 weeks in the leg. What do I got started printing? Today, I'm not printing anything. I haven't started any prints today. But recently, I've been doing videos where I showed you the Albert Einstein and the Chucky and the sunken boat and the golem. And that's the, I've been printing parts for videos for the last week or so. And then my wife wanted some cookie cutters. So I printed a Santa hat and a Santa face, which looks kind of unusual. And then a snowman cookie cutter. So I guess if I ever get an Etsy store going and start selling my models, I can get in Netfab or something and make up my own version of different people's ideas here, different things they might want, and sell cookie cutters on Etsy. And then if I ever get into laser printing, which not if, but when I get into laser printing, I can start making some cool pictures like Jim at ZYLTECH has been doing, and Country 3D Walter has been doing. My wife bought some coasters from Walter. He printed her some Alabama coasters. She's a big Alabama football fan. Whatever it's called, Go Alabama, or that's not it. Roll Tide, or something. And I can start selling those also, have them on an Etsy store. So that'll be cool. I just need to quit talking about it and do it. So, but yeah, Meg's Inspinata, he has a Patreon group, and every month he sends me some really cool stuff, and I need to print some more stuff by him. He just done a Ghost Rider where he's up on a horse. That's a really cool statue. And now, if I resin print it, since my resin printer is small, it would be a small model. I typically print almost everything at 150% scale. And if anybody doesn't know what scale is, when you buy an STL from somebody, whatever size the model is, when you put it in your slicer, that's considered 100%, however big or small it is. And then you size up or down from there. So when I say 150%, that means 50% over how the file came, that everybody, seen it when you downloaded it. How's it going? I can't pronounce your name. Hagen Fagnell or something like that. I'm trying to sound it out. Hello, nice to see you. Anyway, yeah, we're just hanging out talking about whatever. If anybody has any questions about 3D printing hobbies or anything, please ask. If you'd like to drop in and hang out in the stream, I got a link there. Please do so. Daniel, there you go. I can say Daniel. Yeah, I'm bad at pronunciations. There's a lot of times, but occasionally people in Asian countries will join my Facebook group and they write their name is in Chinese or what Arabic or something, and we can't read it. So I asked them to please have an American name when you join or change it. That way, people, if they want to tag you in a post, you can't tag a bunch of characters on Facebook in America. At least I don't know how to. So just use an American name to make it simpler, or something that you can be pronounced. FT5 behind me. No, that's a Hypercube 445, a Hypercube Evolution from ZYLTECH. And then I've got a CR10 sitting next to it that I had for about 3 years now. And yes, we're live on video, the live video. Yeah, I got a bunch of Ender 3s and what else? I might have a couple printers on the way from a couple companies. I'll wait and see when a mailman rings the doorbell, but we'll wait and see. And then I believe Wham Bam is sending me their flex plate for the resin printer. I'll be reviewing it soon with hopefully some other products, but wait and see what the mail brings. So basically all day long, I just I talk to people on Facebook. I look at comments. I contact companies about reviewing different products. I make videos. I watch Netflix. I eat, and I work on models. I just kind of tinker around all day long and do different things. And that kind of burns up my day, and then here comes the next day. And I don't have to worry about going back to work. I'm retired, so I don't ever have to do that again. So it's a lot of fun. Rasdom Design, how you doing? Just hanging out, talking about whatever. If anybody would like to join the chat, I got a stream link there in the stream. You can join in, and you can be on screen with me, and we can chit chat and answer people's questions. Osama, I can't pronounce your last name. Ben Lifton, I think. Ben Lifton. Yeah, just hanging out. There's a few other people that are streaming right now, and I figured, well, I was gonna go on later tonight, and I figured I'm gonna watch a Cowboys football game later. I want to see the Cowboys at 5:20, and right now it's only 2:32, so I'll stream for the next 3 hours, and then as more people join in, we'll have more content and more stuff to talk about. That way, I don't just keep repeating myself. But I'm not currently printing or painting anything right now. I will be later. I'll start something. Get something going or start working on another video. I just did a couple of filament videos, and what else? I think both my recent videos were on filament that I just got that done. Then I'm kind of straightening up the hobby room and planning for the project out back. I've got to build a wall, put a door in it with a doggy door, and I'll have a paint room. I have an enclosed patio underneath my house that's wide open. I'm going to put a wall up, and then I'll move all my painting stuff out there in my resin printer. Resin printer, not printers. I'm waiting on printers. So, yeah, I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, on the West Coast. It's all desert here and hot. I sure wished I lived somewhere that had a lot of trees and was pretty. But we watch the news. It's just so sad that all these fires are taking lives and destroying all nature and everybody's houses or businesses. It's just so sad. I guess the only way to solve that would do a lot of clear cutting, maintain, don't let your forest get overgrown and, but it's a shame. So it's all desert here in sagebrush. Oregon, the beautiful country up in Oregon. Never been there, but I see it on TV. So cold winters, and I don't know how your summers are. Here we have dry heat, and it's in the winter it's cold, but it doesn't last that long. It's not really that cold. I mean, sure you wear a jacket, but it's not like there's snow on the ground and you're freezing half to death. There are some days in the middle of winter you can go out in shorts and flip flops. The weather's kind of up and down all the time, year round. And now that I don't work construction, when you work in the heat all the time, you're used to it and you're all sweaty and you're dirty from working outside. And then when you retire, you get used to not being in that. So a lot of times I'll walk outside in the middle of the summer and go back in the house. Or I got to walk down the street to check the mail at the mailbox. It's like, okay, I need to go home. I don't like being in it if I don't have to be. But I'm always tinkering on something, working out in the garage on something. I've got MPCNC, mostly printed CNC out in the garage that was working on. I need to get the firmware going on it, but I haven't finished it. So the board in it is from ZYLTECH, the one they sent with the Hypercube. But I wound up putting an SKR 1.4 turbo in the Hypercube instead of the ZYLTECH board, which I forget what it was called. It's like two boards in one. Older technology. They click in on top of each other. I forget what they're called. Show us around. Let's see. Okay, let me turn on another light and I'll show you around. Okay, there's my, it's hard to see, there's a resin printer, the red thing in the background over there. That's my wash station, my resin printing. Then I've got my CR10 there in an enclosure. And that's my camera I was doing a lot of filming with, but now the one that I'm moving around is my camera that I do all my filming with. It's a Logitech Brio camera. And then up there on the top shelf, got a bunch of heads I've done. And there's my Hypercube, a CR10 behind the chair. And over there in the corner is my paint booth for painting. And then my paints are back there in a corner, kind of hard to see. And I got a bunch of resin prints and stuff here on this shelf. And the camera came undone. Oh, no. Hold on. Just unscrewed my camera. Let me figure out how to fix this. I'm going to take that mount off. Damn it. Hold on. Bear with me, we're having technical difficulties. Okay. And we're back. Sorry about that. Yeah, when I first started painting like 3 years ago, because I haven't painted since I was a kid, you know, with a brush, I was kind of getting in a hurry and the quality didn't look very good. So, and then, you know, little by little, a lot of my models started looking better, but none of them are perfect. Some look better than others. So, come chat on Discord, usually on in the evenings. Yeah, send me a link. I'll click on it. I don't think I'll be able to drop by tonight, but sometime I can. Always got a lot going on doing this or that. See, there's a model. Here's a cool model I got from Tony Chambers over on 3D Model Crowdfund. Mandalorian. I believe I did this at about 150% scale, I think. And the base I done in sand. I painted the base, then I put glue on it, and I went to Hobby Lobby and I bought some sand, and I put sand on it. And it's a base covered in sand. It's not painted perfect. Whenever I paint something, I Google pictures for whatever I want to paint. Then I print out the pictures on my laser printer, and then I kind of look at the pictures to get ideas for painting. And I couldn't find the Mandalorian exactly like I wanted to paint it, so I took a bunch of different, because when most people design models, they don't make them look exactly like the original. they try to make them a certain percentage different. That way, technically, you don't get in trouble for it. So I was trying to piece together different things here and there as far as for painting. It came out pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And if I ever sold something like this, I'd probably sell it for about $250. That'd be what I would want for it. And at some point, I'll put this. I may or may not sell this. I don't know. But when I put stuff on Etsy, pretty much everything has a price. But then there's some things that I could sell and reprint for myself, but I may not do that because of all the time involved and I have to reprint everything and go that route. So. And then here's the Hulk I did a long time ago from Meg's Inspinata. Came out really good. Did a red Hulk. Meg used to sell his files online all the time. Right now, I believe he just has a Patreon. I don't know if he's back to selling his files again or not. But that came out pretty nice. My biggest problem is that I should have went with miniatures. Henry, how you doing? Henry, if you'd like to drop in, you're welcome to. And congratulations on winning that printer yesterday. That's awesome. So I wish I would have won, but you won, and that's cool. And I probably have more printers than you do, so you can use it more than me. I know you said you're having internet problems, but that's really awesome that you won that. That's cool. If any of you would like to drop in and hang out, talk about anything you want to talk about, any kind of hobby-related type stuff, there's a link. You're welcome to drop in and join in. I'm going to stream for at least 3 hours. If someone ever drops in and joins me, I'll stream for at least 3 hours. But if no one drops in, I can't sit there for 3 hours and chat with, just answering questions. And I want to end the stream by 5:20. I want to watch Dallas win or lose. I want to watch them play on the TV. Okay, over here on YouTube, I see, there it is. Non-fam, you want a printer too? Wow. That's awesome. That's cool. I've tried to get in on contests on YouTube for years whenever somebody's giving away something. And one time there was that 24-hour stream that was on last year or 2 years ago for Australia, the wildfires. And I was the very last person to win something. And it was a little tiny tube of gloop. I won a little tiny tube of gloop. That was cool. I wish it would have been a roll of filament, but I won a sample of gloop. And that's the only thing I've ever won. So, and then last year when I was live streaming every week, I was giving away filament from ZYLTECH or from Arion. I would contact them and they would donate filament to me to give away. And this year I haven't done that. At some point when the economy and things start getting better for companies, I'll start asking for more giveaway stuff. And then I can randomly do giveaways on different occasions. Let me go check my Facebook. Okay, thank you. I see it. I might stop in later, but if I don't do it later, I'll definitely bookmark it and I'll join it. So thank you for sending that. Let me pop chat back out. Let's see, LD002R from Corality. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, the more you guys, as you know, the more you hang out and chat, the more you drop in streams and interact in the community, the more companies will recognize you, and it helps you out a lot. It helps you out immensely. When you make posts and you like and share things, et cetera, et cetera. Because, in the olden days, a company had to spend a ton of money and get a commercial and make a commercial. Nowadays, they just have to make one video and get people to share it for them and promote their products for them. So I know somebody recently that got a product from some company to review, and like they do in the world of computers and video cards, you review it and then you pack it up and you mail it back or mail it to the next person. This particular company wants their 3D printing product back. And I'm thinking, what? As much trouble as it is for that person to build that, do the video, edit the video, make posts, do follow-up videos, that's a ton of time and money. your time is money, and then they want their product back. No, that's bullshit. Complete bullshit. So whatever company that's doing that, which I'm not going to mention them, you're wrong. If you're going to give somebody a review, you don't ask for it back. That's not even right. So, but as long as people say, sure, send it to me for free and I'll send it back, I'm sure that practice will keep happening. But I don't agree with it. If anybody has any questions, please ask. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm not a rocket scientist by any means, but I know what I know that I've done for over 3 years in 3D printing. Just reading chat here. People talking back to each other, no reason to post it on the screen. Nothing interesting. No one on Facebook is commenting. I'm not sure how many people on Facebook are commenting or here. I know we have a few people on Facebook, but I'm not really sure how many. If any of my relatives are watching, hello, how you doing? Everything's going good here in Las Vegas. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. There's a reminder, please like and subscribe. The super chat is turned on, but there's not much interesting stuff to go on here, so I don't imagine anybody would donate to super chat. There's not much happening. Yeah, here's one. Jump in and hang out. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, I posted a link where you can log in on your cell phone, your laptop, your computer. StreamYard will ask you about your camera and your video settings. You click yes, and it'll go bink on my side, and I can drop you in. We're not talking about politics or sex or anything like that. Just hobby 3D printing type stuff. Hello, how you doing, Bliss? Brody, what got you into 3D printing your models? Well, I've grown up as a kid. I've always liked models and statues, and then I grew up and got a job, and I kind of quit doing that thing. And then 5 or 6 years ago, when I became retired, like 5 years ago, I was watching a video on YouTube, and this man was traveling around the country with his wife. He had a little 3D printer, and it was really cool. It was real inexpensive. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't a CR10. It was smaller than that, and got me interested. So I got on a Facebook group. I joined a group. I seen Kevin Sharp, for instance, over in the UK, printing some really cool statues from Sanix, and it was all over after that. I got my first CR10, started printing a lot of models from Sanix. And then a couple months later, I could justify buying a second printer to my wife. Well, this one, the bed's full. I'm busy printing all these parts, and I needed a second one, so I bought a second. And now I have a zillion. I mean, I got a lot and a ton of models. I probably should have printed miniatures, because when you print big statues, they take up room, and then you have more and more. So if you're not selling them or giving them away, they just collect. So at some point, I need to sell everything and start printing smaller. So, but then again, just have to wait and see how it goes. But I enjoy, and I never have airbrush before. I started that a few years ago, tinkering with an airbrush. Bought one off Amazon, watched some videos, and that's how I learned. Just kind of watch videos and get tips. I'm not an expert at anything. I'm just pretty good at everything. It just, all depends what we're talking about. What do you think of subscription style things where people are doing they're creating their files? A lot of those are like $5 or $10 a month. If you have an extra $5 or $10 a month, that's cool. There's a lot of great designers out there. And for instance, my group on 3D printing and painting, there's a ton of people posting on there a lot. And technically, they're not supposed to. They're supposed to ask me before posting, but most of them I let ride. I just let it go. If something gets out of hand, I'll just start deleting them, or I'll change the way I do things on my Facebook group. But yeah, there's a lot of companies out there that got a lot of great stuff. A lot of people doing it. Most of the big YouTubers that are showing off a lot of cool models on their videos, they're usually getting those from a subscription service. And in the description below their video, they list who the designer, who it's from. And yeah, it's cool. But like I said, if I could do it all over, I'd probably start printing smaller things, like this big, or, not huge. That way I got more room. But sometimes I get something like, wow, I'm going to supersize it and make it big. So And now Joe Telling has that $38,000 printer he's working with, and it's like 4 foot by 4 foot by however tall it is. It's going to take a ton of filament, but he can print some really huge stuff for video content. So, and pretty much any printer can print anything. It's just how many pieces you want to cut it up in, glue it back together, putty it, sand it, etc. But Ender 3 or the TiVo Tarantula Pro, they're smaller than a CR10. You can print almost anything on it, but then you just got to cut the model up in separate pieces. And when I first got my CR10, I was loading up the bed with my whole model, which takes forever to print. So, and then if a part fails, then you got a big stringy mess while it's printing other parts. There's a feature that came out in, I don't remember if it was Simplified 3D or Cura, one of those, where if a part fails, there's something you can do to make the printer not see that part no more and continue with others. I forget what it was. I read a little bit about it, but typically it's best not to print a million things on your bed at once. So, and then when you resin print, it doesn't matter. Everything on a resin printer prints from the, upside down from the bottom up. And it doesn't matter how many things are on the bed. It'll get done in the same amount of time. Time for bed. Well, thank you for stopping by, Don. I appreciate it. You have a good night. And I'll be live streaming Wednesday at 5 o'clock. I will be having Chris Taylor on, Nuri's Chris Taylor on from Today's 3D Print, if you have time to stop by. Like Doomsday you did. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I print a model, it's got multiple pieces. I won't load the whole bed up, but I'll put a bunch of pieces on the bed at once. It depends. I might do 2 or 3 or 4 pieces, but I won't fill the bed as big as it can go. It depends what layer height. When I do all my bases, I print a 0.20 millimeter layer height. There's never a reason to print a base higher than that because there's no high detail. When I done this Chucky statue, he has a little high detail, but I still printed him at 0.20 and he came out fine. Whenever you print fingers, hands, I always have the arm up in the air. So the fingers print up and I print them at 0.12 or 0.10. It depends on how small they are. But typically 0.12 is my go-to number for high detail prints. And whenever I print a face, when I first started printing, the face was straight up. Then you get ringing on the face from the printer. I always print my faces diagonally back. You don't want a lot of supports on the nose or none, so I print it diagonally back like it's looking up at the corner at a wall, and that's how I usually print all my heads. And on a lot of models that you get, once you drop the base down on the bed and you go to slice it or you look at it, you'll notice that it's not flat. Because whoever designed it will have it slightly cockeyed when it's flat on the bed, or there'll be some kind of weird texture on the bottom that's not going to print right. In Simplified 3D, I simply double click on the model. I go to my Z settings and I drop the model down 1 or 2 millimeters and cut that off, and it's perfectly flat. That's how I printed this Benchy. Instead of going into a CAD program and cutting it and slicing it, I simply tipped the model up. I dropped it through the bed on S3D and cut it off. Whenever I have a failed print, like the mask that I did, when the top didn't print, I just put the mask in S3D. I dropped it all the way down. I looked at the mask to kind of, instead of measuring it, I guesstimated where it failed at. And then I reprinted that top little piece 3 times, and then I got it right. Then I simply glued it on, primed it, painted it. It was fine. Or glued it on, puttied it, sanded it, primed it, painted it. And it came out great. It's not perfect, but it's almost perfect. It just, you can get anything perfect. It's just a matter of how much time do you want to put in working on it. So, and then whenever I can print something without supports, a lot of times supports will damage things, and I don't like using supports. It depends on the model, how it's designed. So some people will print a head upside down to get away from supports. And then once they take the raft off, then they got a bunch of ringing in one area to clean up. Most heads and helmets you can print without any inside supports. You would need them on the nose or eye sockets and around the base, obviously. So in S3D, I would let the program automatically generate the supports. And then I turn it sideways in S3D. And now I got a billion of them in the middle. And then I sit there and I click, 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 click for 20 minutes. And I take out all those inside supports, just leaving the perimeter supports. And to me, that's faster than trying to manually add every single support side by side where they go. I'll just delete the ones I don't need. Because you're printing an FDM and you got a taper, it can complete with no problem. You will have a little bit of stringing underneath on the top, but it won't be too bad. It'll be very minor because it can print and make the bend with no problem. And then in resin printing, whenever you can auto generate, which usually gives you too many supports, or you can manually add them, which is usually best, but you have to look for islands when you go to slice it, or before you slice it, you can drag the bar down in Cheetah Box. And if you see an island which is separate in midair from the rest of the model, that would need a support on it because it can't print out there unless it's attached to something. So you barely slowly drag that bar and you look for an island anywhere and put a support on it. Or you can auto generate and then just start deleting all the ones you don't want and then look at it, like I say, slide the scale up and down and go from there. And someone else has been in the resin printing longer than me might have a better way of explaining that, but that's my opinion on how I would do it. Thank you for the 17 people I see watching on YouTube, or 16 people on YouTube, and however many people are on Facebook on my page in my group. Thank you very much. I posted this earlier up on Twitter. I'm not sure how many other people are streaming right now, but I appreciate the people that are here. Please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you would like to drop in and hang out, here's a stream link. I just posted it. There's a stream link to StreamYard. You're welcome to pop in and hang out. And when I get some more money soon, I'm going to buy a bunch of stickers. And all the people out there on YouTube and different people that I know, I'm going to mail everybody a sticker. So you'll have one from 3D printing and painting. And then once I get done mailing them out to all those people, then I'll probably take the remaining stickers that I have and, I don't know, sell them for $1 a piece or something. That way it'll cover my mailing cost and the sticker cost. I'll send it to you for $1 a piece. But all the other people, I'll just mail them to. So I guess that's the right way to do it. Anyway, yeah, a company contacted me yesterday. His wife sells on Etsy, and they gave me a pretty decent price for 100 stickers. I'm getting 100 of them made. So I've been seeing the ads for, Sticker Mule. They had a special a while back that I missed where you could get 50 stickers made for $9. And now their special is you get 10 stickers for $9. And then I've looked at some other companies getting a 3x3 round sticker, high gloss, die cut, and they're fairly pricey. So I can't afford the price at the moment. So I'll have to wait till I get some more money and then find a deal and then go with the deal. So, and like I say, they're not for me. They're for everybody else that wants one. I'll keep one, give my son one, my wife one, probably. So if anybody has any questions about anything, please ask. If you need me to try to explain something, how a process works or how I do anything in particular, ask and I'll do my best to explain it. So, but when I have something to talk about, I can usually talk a mile a minute and I talk really fast. So sometimes I need to tone myself down and slow down a little bit. And anybody just dropping in, here's what my hobby room looks like. It is a living room. It used to be a living room in my house. I have 2 living rooms in the house. They're basically side by side with separated by a kitchen. And this was the biggest room. I used to have a big table in here. And whenever we had company a few times a year, we would use the room. Other than that, it would stay empty. So it was a perfect time to make it a hobby room. So if anybody watching, your wife or a girlfriend or boyfriend or husband thinks that, oh my God, you have too many printers and too much stuff, show them this picture. So anyway. And then my friend, one of my 3D printing buddies here in town, he's a maker. He stopped by with his girlfriend here last week, and boy, is he tall. Anyway, they came by to visit, and that's my wife, Brandy, sitting there in a chair. On Facebook, she's known as Betty Boop 45. And here's another picture of him here. Now he's sitting down to the same height. And then here's a banner I got made from Robbie Mack. Came out really good. I sent him my logo, and he took the words 3D printing and painting, put it up on top of it, and then he had it made for me, and I just got that in the mail a few days ago. Anyway, like I say, if anybody has any questions, please ask. If you'd like to drop in and hang out, please do so. Let me check and let's see. Look at Facebook here for a minute. All right. Yeah, I messaged Matthew Nicholas. I just see he's busy working in his garage, but he's watching the stream. Okay. Well, thank you, Matthew. If you get a minute, you're welcome to drop in. Matthew, if you want to drop in, you can keep working. If there's something that's not secret, top secret, you can just kind of have it open in the stream. That'd work too. That'd be fine. Whatever you think. If I had something to do right now and there's other people here, then I'd just get up and work on it while the stream is going. But I don't have anything really I need to do at this exact moment. Just popping out chat and clicking on this and that and gabbing away. Anyway, the 3D printing Belgium earlier, him and his wife were on. He was building a printer. He had that going earlier. And I see Joe Telling stopped in chat and Chris Riley stopped in chat. Dan was over there watching DB3D Dan. Timothy Hooglin was streaming on his other channel called Tim Hooglin. And Justin T had popped in and he was streaming with him. And Justin was flying a drone, I believe, at the time that I stopped in. So, and Tim was working on a printer or working on firmware printer or something. Let me pop that up in chat here in a minute. I'll answer it. I see it's in YouTube. It's got like a 15 or 20 second delay, and then I'll see it in StreamYard. Boy, I sure wish these programs work better together. They don't play nice. Big delay between the programs. Here it is. What is the coolest file you've ever printed out? I don't know. Every time I find something to print, if it's not made for a video and it's a model, at the time that I downloaded it and printed, that was my favorite at the time. I've got so many. I mean, like the Hulk, for instance, he's a really super cool model and I love it. That's something I probably wouldn't want to sell, but I would. I mean, there's the Mandalorian, there's helmets, there's just so many different things that are cool at the time I print them. If I wouldn't buy them or get them free from somebody if I didn't like them. So at the time, that's really cool. That's why I printed it. I rarely print things I don't like, but I don't have a specific favorite that I can think of. Clone Trooper. No, I haven't. I do have a bunch of Star Wars heads. Before I got into 3D printing, and when I was thinking about buying a printer, I figured the first thing I'm going to print is a Stormtrooper helmet. And I still haven't printed one. It's been over about 3.5 years, but 3 years, something like that. And I still haven't printed a Stormtrooper helmet. I've done the Mandalorian helmet. I've done Spawn helmet. And I think that was only 2 helmets. Yeah, Spawn and the Mandalorian. And then I have a bunch of heads, but you can't wear them. They were off a group that you have to join. It was called Build It and They Will Come. And I printed a lot of Star Wars heads. They're almost full size. They're up on the top shelf. I got an alien baby that I painted. That's kind of a weird looking alien thing. I have a great big giant Joker that I haven't finished painting that just needs touch-up work, and I haven't finished it. A lot of things I start and I don't finish. I get involved in something else, and I just don't go back to them. So the only thing I ever start and finish is a pizza. But anyway, yeah, when my health got really bad, I got really low. My weight was really down. I wasn't skinny, but I wasn't fat. And then my health started getting better, which is still getting better, but I still have issues. And I've gained way too much weight back, and I'm not active enough. What was my hardest print? Brody's asking. At least it's on YouTube, not on my chat yet. The hardest print. Probably the print where I couldn't get the raft off. Sometimes I'll use different filaments and I have to use a raft for certain things to help hold the supports. And I would have to say it's probably the print where I couldn't get the raft off. And then I'm trying to cut at it and I'm trying to separate it and I end up tearing up the model. the bottom of it pulls off of it. The only thing that's ever been hard is getting wraps off sometimes. And then on most bigger prints, I try, if there's a lot of surface area, I don't print with a wrap. But if there's going to be a lot of supports touching the bed and it's a tall model, I will print a wrap to help bond them better, because sometimes they don't hang onto the bed as well as they should. So I guess that would be the hardest print. Scott Latine, I'd enjoy streams when you're working on model painting and finishing. That's the most obscure area for many newcomers to the craft. Yeah, I think I've only done one where I painted Laura and Hardy off of Game Body, and I think I was playing music, and I didn't really explain anything, but I kind of showed what I was doing. I'm not a professional painter, so it's hard for me to do videos on painting because my way isn't necessarily the right way. It's just how I do it. I would pick up tips and tricks here and there on things, but I still probably do things wrong compared to professionals. But yeah, most people have, painted with rattle cans, spray cans. I've done that my whole life, not on models, just on working on cars or working on anything out in the garage using rattle cans. And that comes in handy because when you prime a model outside, the enamel paint, you have to know how to spray. Like when you paint a car, when you're spraying something, you want to even pass back and forth. You don't want to take the spray can and do this because you don't want the paint to run. So you typically, even with primer, you give it a light dusting coat. You let that dry for a few minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, and then you can spray the next coat heavier and get nooks and crannies. You don't sit there and just hold the spray can close and just spray it on heavy, because then it starts running and now you got a problem. Just spray everything with light, even coats, even passes. Like when you paint a car, you don't sweep your hand in and then out. You go back and forth straight, even with the spray can, and paint everything. And then getting older, a lot of times when I paint stuff, I got to put on glasses, or I buy a magnifying doohickey. I done a video on a while back where it clips on like safety glass. It's got a light on it, a magnification lens. That way you can look at a model real close to working on faces, the teeth, eyes, things like that. And there's that comment. Let me pop it up for the people. If somebody on Facebook can't see that, there was Scott's comment. Ooh. But yeah, any ideas or comments, tips and tricks? What kind of primer do I recommend? I go to Lowe's or Home Depot and I buy whatever they have. Right now I've got Krylon primer called Color Max that I bought. And then I have some Krylon Fusion that I bought. That's what I'm currently using. When you do paint a model, let's say this Hulk, for instance, if you don't want this to have a really high gloss, you want it to look like you painted it and look more authentic, paint it, you spray it, clear coat it with a matte finish. Don't paint it with a gloss. You don't want it real shiny. You want it to look natural, but you want to protect the paint from getting scratched or chipped. So you paint it with a matte finish. That way it will look like it does before you put the matte finish on. If you paint it with a high gloss, it's going to be shiny. Whenever I paint chrome, I bought some little bottles of chrome paint off of Amazon, and I spray them in my airbrush. Also, say I get a model done, I prime it gray, whatever, and I like it. I'll go over that with a high gloss black. I'll paint the whole model, rattle can usually, a high gloss black. Once that dries, usually the next day, once I take my chrome and my airbrush, I very lightly go over that high gloss black, and we'll make the chrome pop. If you hit it with multiple coats, it's going to dull it and look like silver. But if you really lightly and carefully spray that model with that chrome paint, it will make it pop and it will look like chrome. And then it's finished. And I usually don't put anything over top of that. If I spray that with a clear, it tends to dull the chrome. So, and then once the chrome is completely dry, you can take a rag and kind of wipe it off and polish it out a little bit. But use the high gloss black and spraying chrome. Some people use different types of primer. You can use white primer to make certain colors pop. I typically use gray primer on a lot of my models, but if you really want the colors to pop and be bright, a lot of people will use white or other colors of primer to make the top color pop more. But yeah, I used to buy Walmart primer. I say typically right now I'm buying, like I just said, buying Krylon. So most of my primer is by Krylon Rabble Can. I do have airbrush primer that I bought that I rarely use, but if it's really cold outside and I can't paint outside, I will use airbrush primer and to prime a model. But before you ever paint any kind of PLA, PETG, ABS, anything, you have to prime it. You can't go directly paint because the paint eventually will start flaking off. I'm not sure at what point that'll happen, but that's just something I've always known and been told. Like when you paint a car, furniture, anything, you always want to prime everything first. Questions. Anybody like to jump into the stream? Please click on the link and jump in. We can hang out and talk to everybody that's watching us. What's my go-to PLA or PETG? I've tried many different brands. Most of my brands, I stay around 15, 16, under $20 a roll, between 15 and 20 a roll. My go-to is usually 3D ZYLTECH. I've tried a lot of different brands that I loved. I originally, before I got into printing, before my printer got here, I had a whole bunch of, let me pop that up on the screen. I had a whole bunch of Hatchbox. I bought like 10 different colors of Hatchbox at $25 a roll. And I noticed with Hatchbox, some colors print better than other colors. When I'm going to paint a model, I usually print with white because I do, or silver or gray. And because I do a lot of pictures I post on social media, when I used to print things in a plain color, I would usually buy gray or silver. That way I don't have to prime it before I show off the picture. When I print in white, even like this one, it's much harder for me to clean this up and see what I missed. So when I go and prime this gray, might see some supports or a little string here or there once it's primered. So if you print in gray or silver, you can tend to see your models better, but you have to prime everything first before painting. But yeah, 3D ZYLTECH is a go-to. ZYLTECH has good PLA. I've used a lot of their PLA. I just reviewed some G-Tech, and it seems to be printing nice. I've only tried 2 of their colors. Sunlu, I'm an affiliate for them. I've tried their PLA. I've got mixed results on their PLA. Their PETG seem to be a lot nicer than the PLA. There's a lot of great brands. The Amazon Basics that used to be out, I heard horror stories about it forever, and I don't think they're around anymore with that filament, but I did try some, and I didn't have any problem with it. So most of the time, it's operator error. When people have trouble with filament, they say, well, this sucks or that sucks because of this reason or that reason. Most of the time, it's not the filament. There's something that person's doing wrong that's usually causing that problem. And then they just throw their hands up in the air and start bad-mouthing the company. A lot of filament is the same. There's only X amount of companies in the world that make filament, and there's a zillion companies that buy that filament, and they have it labeled with their company's name on it. And it's really dry. Amazon, yeah. Yeah, the Amazon PLA, yeah, I've tried that. I've tried black. I think I've only tried their black. And I don't even know if they still make it, but yeah, I've tried it. Creality used to ship with CC Tree PLA and all their machines, all those little tiny samples. I got a lot of them. I've thrown some away. I don't like tiny rolls of samples. You can't print much with it other than a bench it came with. So I typically don't print with samples, but I was getting a lot of PLA from CC Tree last year, and their stuff was printing fine. Some of it seemed to be kind of soft but it printed fine. So most filaments print fine, most. If I printed a whole bunch of Arion, they were giving me a great deal. I was getting like 99% off on different colors when I got a bunch of Arion, and quite often going through my filament runout center, Arion was clogging on me. I don't know if they had a couple bad batches or what, but it wasn't consistently 1.75 millimeter, and it would clog in my extruder. And I wake up the next morning and my print's printing in midair because the filament got clogged in my extruder. So I killed a few prints, and that really pissed me off. And then I've had other filament, they're really sparkly, glittery filament that was really brittle on me. And when I lose a handful of prints because it was brittle, I don't want to use the brand anymore. I get tired of prints failing. The prints I did print with Arion look great. They look fabulous. But when I did have trouble, I had enough trouble that I didn't want to try it anymore. I would like to review their resin and try it because it's liquid, but I haven't yet. But anyway, yeah. And then the CC Tree, a person made a comment in my group earlier that they had a lot of trouble with it being tangled. And I said, I made a comment back. I said, well, maybe it's better in the USA. The G-Tech that I tried, I burned up almost 2 rolls on different test prints, and I haven't had no tangling problems. It's been wound fine. So, but sometimes companies might have a bad batch or a bad run, but that doesn't mean everything's bad. It's like the ANET having a fire years ago, and everybody talks about ANET A8, and they need a fire extinguisher. Well, Creality had a smoking problem recently, so now people are talking about Creality. Shit happens. I mean, not everything is bad just because something happened. It shouldn't have happened. It should have been caught. You're right, but it did. So, it'll get corrected, but that doesn't make everything bad. I've been using the stuff that Joanne Fabric sells. It's not bad, $24. Is it their brand or is it a specific brand? So, but yeah, but I've bought it. I've used a ton of 3D ZYLTECH or ZYLTECH, however you want to pronounce it, and I've had no issues with it whatsoever off of Amazon. And I haven't had any issues with ZYLTECH filament. I did buy a giant spool of PETG called the Technicite spool from ZYLTECH, which was black, and I did have a lot of stringing and a lot of different issues with that big black spool. But then again, I didn't dry it out. And I do live in a really hot climate here in Vegas. It's dry. There's very low humidity. My filament shouldn't have a trouble, but since I got this eSun filament dryer or Sunlu filament dryer to review, I'll start using it to dry out more filament, because wherever they made the filament, it might have been raining outside. There might have been high humidity. There's always that chance that even though it got packed in a vacuum sealed bag with desiccant, it still might have moisture in your filament. Some people recommend drying your filament out before you use it. I've never done that. I've never had a reason to. But if you get a really bad print and it's not sticking to the bed, you hear a lot of popping coming in the extruder, your filament's wet. So then it's time to dry it out. So I guess if you have the extra time and you got the filament dryer, go ahead and dry it out beforehand. But I've never done that. It all depends where you live and what's going on around you. Yep. Anything that man makes will fall apart at one point in time or another. We never build anything perfect. Yep, that's definitely true. But as far as for people buying a new printer and what should I upgrade? Nothing. When you get a new printer, you're new to the hobby, learn the printer inside and out, get it working fine, make some prints. At some point down the road, you can change your PTFE, or you might need to change the bed springs. You might want to get rid of the plastic extruder. Do changes once at a time. Don't build your printer not a man unless you're a professional and you got a zillion printers. But even then, you should learn the printer. So when something goes wrong, you know what went wrong, what caused it, and you didn't make too many changes. And you don't know what you did wrong. So I'd say the same with firmware. I'm not an expert on firmware, but don't make too many changes at once if you're not sure what you're doing, because then you might not know what you screwed up. What do you think of people who give the work of other artists for free? I think I recently saw my mini factory SGL from Mindless King on Spartacus. Oh, people that steal from designers, they should have their hands and legs, feet cut off. Yeah, the paid for models need to be paid for. People shouldn't buy their work, get it free, share it, try to sell it. That's completely bullshit. But there's no way to ever stop it. It will continue to happen. That's why when most designers release models, they have like a Kickstarter where they try to get X amount of dollars before they release it. That way they basically made their money and their time and effort. Let's say, here's an example. Let's say whoever designed Chucky wanted $1,000 for Chucky. He would post it on a group and they get so many people at $15 to give him $15. Once he got enough backers, he releases a model. So technically he made his money back. Sure, he doesn't want nobody to ever steal it or share it, but since that happens, at least he made his initial money for that model. He'll still get more money coming in. People will continue to buy it. Then there's those assholes that want to steal the file or share it and go on. So, it's completely wrong. It shouldn't happen. I have a lot of designers that give me stuff for free. They've designed. I don't have to buy it. All I have to do is ask, because they know that I'm going to print it and share it all over the place. And I get a lot of stuff for free. I don't really ask for anything from anybody right now, and lately, because I haven't had time to print anything. I'm kind of too backed up on things. And yeah, whenever you see a file on My Mini Factory or this or that, you should report it. I don't know if My Mini Factory or Thingiverse will take it down, but yeah, at least somebody told them about it. because there's no way to avoid it. That'll always happen. People think wherever they're at with their made up name on whatever channel they're on that they're untouchable, but they'll get banned. I ban people all the time on my group. Other designers contact me every week that this person did that, or they were sharing this or selling this here or there. So they show me proof. They usually send me a link or something I can look at, and then I ban the person. And then if you ban somebody on Facebook, another way so they will never see you again, you go to their page and you ban them from seeing you, so then they can never see you again on Facebook. So anyway, unless you make a mistake and ban the wrong person, and later on down the road they clear their name up with the designers or whatever, and then you reinstate them. So I don't know. It's kind of a headache running a group. There's so many things to watch, and occasionally people will pop up a site where you can buy X amount of STLs for this price, and as soon as I see it or somebody flags it, I will take it down, or one of my moderators do, but it doesn't always happen instantly. But I try to monitor that stuff all the time. Like right now I'm streaming, I'm not monitoring anything. So that's good. Yeah. And then sometimes designers get in feuds with each other, and they think this person stole this idea from them or that idea, and that kind of goes round and round. Things happen, but everybody that designs anything got their idea from somewhere. Whether they've seen something that somebody else made, a picture, they're quite often things can look similar, unless you superimpose them in a program and see that they're exactly the same. And I'm sure in ZBrush or something you can superimpose models and check to see if they're exactly the same. So, but yeah, it's an ongoing problem of one kind or another. So, but it's a great hobby and I love it. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy helping people to a certain extent. That's I got to say that's the truth, because some people, the minute you post something on Facebook or a group, they go STL, STL. Well, that's turned into a big joke, but a lot of people are serious about, no, give me the model, give me the model, I want it, give it to me now. No, buy it. Here's a link. So unless it was posted on a free site, it was a free model. Some people new to the hobby might be on my mini factory or Thingiverse and see something that might be from Stanix or somebody, and they don't know that it was something they were supposed to pay for, and they download it and print it. They honestly had no idea. If they're not on social media, a lot of people don't know this, and they will blindly do something not knowing it was. So, I mean, I could even be, I haven't, but I could even be guilty of that. I might see something that looks really cool. I download it and print it. Sure, I know a lot of designers and people online, but I don't know everybody. So there is a chance that I could even print something that came from a pay site, and I didn't realize it at the time because I got so much stuff. I've literally got hundreds of files on my hard drives on 2 different computers of things that I've never printed yet that I've got from people or I bought at one point in time, and then I move on and just never got around to printing them. Anybody on Facebook or YouTube that would like to join in, I will repost the link. Here's the link if you would like to join in and be live with me on YouTube. We've got X amount of people on Facebook and on YouTube watching. There's people on 2 different Facebook groups that could be watching. My family and friends could be watching. And then we got YouTube. So anyway, I guess I done the live stream on the wrong day. I figured Sunday afternoon would be a good time to do a live stream. But no one's popped in yet. I've been streaming for an hour and a half now, and no one's popped in. It kind of surprised me. Thank you for the person that gave me a thumbs down. I appreciate that. Always somebody does it. So they either do it to be mean or they do it just to be funny. So, but thank you. It's still interaction. So whether it's an up or down or a comment, good or bad, at least it's interaction. It helps out my channel. So I appreciate it. Well, thank you, Liz, for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And like I say, Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, I'm going to have Chris Taylor on from Today's 3D Print. Nerys, if you have time to stop by, it'd be great. Anyway, my favorite NFL football teams. Let's talk about football for a minute. I love the Dallas Cowboys. The Raiders, I've never really cared for, but now that they moved to Vegas, the Las Vegas Raiders, they played earlier and they beat the Panthers. That was cool. They've got a whole new lineup of players, and they've done great. It was a great game. So I'm going to have to start rooting for the Raiders and for Dallas. I like the Seattle Seahawks when they play. I like the Patriots, and I think that's it. So, and there was no preseason, as everybody knows. That sucks, but at least you're playing. You jump in, but your garage is pretty smoky. Smoky from painting or other things? Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Football is on all day today. So that's probably why nobody's jumping in on my stream. Everybody's watching football. Yeah. Well, it's like I asked my wife earlier. I said, "Well, I said on the 3D Print Belgium's channel I was going to stream later." I said, "Oh no, wait a minute, Dallas is on later. I want to watch Dallas. So if I stream now, I can stop by the time Dallas comes on." Oh, I'm sorry. Fires in Oregon. Yeah, forgot about that. Last week, Vegas, when I walked outside, it wasn't sunny. It was kind of gray out. You couldn't even see the mountain. I live right by Sunrise Mountain. I couldn't even see the mountain, and that was from the smoke in California. So, yeah, that's really sad. I hope they can get that under control. But they just got the fires not too long ago under control and put out, and here they came back, and then those were out, and then they came back again. This is really ridiculous. This stuff that took 100 years to grow or to build, whatever, and people's lives are being destroyed, and all that beautiful scenery and all the trees, burning up, and now they're going to be gone. It sucks. 2020's been a bad year. I hope 2021 is better. I don't know if it will be or not. The way things are going, I mean, we're nearing the end of the year. I hope it's better, but it may be the same. I remember a couple of years ago, working construction, quite often you wear a dust mask and a hard hat and safety glasses. And occasionally I'd go to the store and see a guy with a hard hat on and think it was funny. But now, and then I'd go to the store occasionally in the past to see somebody with a dust mask on. I figured, okay, they've got allergies of some kind or they're allergic to something, they have a mask on. Now, if you go to the store and you don't have a mask on, people look at you funny. So that's the times that we're in. Everybody looks like a ninja. So everybody's a ninja now. Go Denver. Broncos. Yeah, like I say, I have certain teams that are favorites, but when things start narrowing down and certain teams are playing on Saturday or Sunday or during the week, then I start rooting for one or the other. So I like lots of teams. There's a lot of quarterbacks I like. There's a lot of players I like. So it all depends who's on the team and who's playing. 3D Printing Cave. Hi, Jerry. Love your streams, man. Also, the painting. Keep up the great work from the land down under. Well, thank you very much, Australia. I really appreciate that. My reviews and my videos aren't the greatest. A lot of times I kind of fly by the seat of my pants. I have only one time tried to script a video when I read off a teleprompter, and then I told everybody I was. And sometimes my videos, I repeat myself, or I don't have very good lighting. I might walk away from the microphone and you can't hear me. So when I edit it, I attempt to turn up the mic on that area. I do what I do, and I'm happy with it. So it's a lot of fun. When I was a little kid, I wanted to grow up and be a movie star and be in the movies. And, I wanted to be like this action hero, that person. I never got to do any of that. Well, now I can live stream and talk to people like this. So I guess that's my little bit of giving back or being out there in the world is being online and having cool people on every week to chat with or meeting everybody that dropped in and chat with me. It's really awesome. So I make your day, you make my day just by being here and leaving comments. I really appreciate it. So I got on YouTube in 2010. I wasn't making any content. I done some dumb videos a long time ago, and eventually it started getting better and better. So I've only got around 1,700 subscribers. I wish I had 10,000, but that's up to me. I need to keep making content and lots of videos and doing lots of live streams, and eventually I'll get there. And at some point, we'll pick up and get better. And someday I might even make a little bit of money on it that help subsidize my retirement. I don't get much on retirement. So, yeah. Yeah, a couple of years ago when Dallas got their new quarterback, I can't think of his name. It's slipping me again. And his number one best runner. That was really awesome. And then they lost that year. And then next year they were terrible. And I don't know. They start out great, and then things are kind of up and down. They do a lot of dumb things. I don't know. But everybody in the NFL, everybody's been on so many great teams. You think everybody would always play about the same. Like the Raiders, I watched them for a few years on and off, and they were losing, and they started getting better. And now they've got Jason Witten is on the Raiders now. He's over there, and they played earlier. And I love Jason Witten, but he's like a big tree. Every time he gets the ball, he'll walk 5 feet, and then he gets tackled by everybody. So he's a great catcher, but he's not a great runner anymore because everybody tackles him so fast. But like I say again, if anybody is watching, you like to jump in and hang out, there's a link there you can click, and you can jump in and hang out with me and talk. If you're overseas and your English isn't very good, but you speak English, that's fine. You can drop in too. We'll work it out. If I talk too fast for you when you're in the stream, I'll slow down. I chat with a lot of people and designers on Facebook quite a bit, and I guess they have a translator built in. So if you chat with people online and you accidentally get in an argument or something happens, people misunderstand comments. Somebody might leave a comment, another person might not like it, but they misread the way you meant to type it. They don't understand. They're assuming you're trying to say this or that when you meant something else. So sometimes it's hard to communicate when you're typing to people what you're trying to say. I remember a guy in my group a long time ago wanted to know how to do something. I knew absolutely nothing about what he was talking about. So I said, go to YouTube and watch a video on that. He got all upset, left my group, cussed me out in a PM. I was trying to be nice and I was being honest. I wasn't trying to boot him off the group to leave. I was trying to honestly tell him where he could find his information at. He took it the wrong way and made a big deal out of it. So I'm sorry that happened, but I didn't mean it to come across like that. I don't try to put people down. I don't make fun of their prints. Not everybody prints the same. Not everybody paints the same. So whatever you do post, I will never put it down or make a negative comment. You open-heartedly done your best at that point of your 3D printing career and you like it. I'm not going to say nothing bad about it. That's not right. But on some groups, people post prints and everybody's got something stupid to say. Well, people are ignorant sometimes. You shouldn't do that. Because then that person printing that, they may never post again because of what you said about their print. They're learning, they're trying. Now, if I was to paint something with my eyes closed with my right hand, and I'm left-handed, and you made a dumb comment about it, I would laugh because I meant to post it like it looked. Because that I know better, and I can obviously do better than that. Unless I got Alzheimer's and I'm blind, and that's where I'm at in my life, well, then don't laugh at me if I'm an idiot, and I'm 80 years old, and I got Alzheimer's, and I can't paint no more. I mean, then be nice, but, if that makes any sense. Well, I hope Wednesday night when I stream that there's no football on at 5 o'clock Pacific, and I hope lots of people drop in. We've got 13 watching right now, but I hope Wednesday to have 75 to 100 people. That would be awesome. So anybody that's watching now, if you could share my live stream for Wednesday on your pages or anywhere, I'd really appreciate that. I would love to get more people to show up for my weekly live streams when I have guests on. I'm doing the best I can to try to grow the channel, but if it wasn't for everybody that's watching, you guys, that won't happen. So everybody that wants to help by sharing it, it really help me out. Drop by, comment, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. I'd really appreciate it. Every little bit helps. As soon as that William, as soon as that comment pops up here, I'll show it on screen and talk about it. Hey, I'm currently printing with PETG. Have you ever get a smooth surface with it? And can you show me some? I've never printed with a 0.2 millimeter nozzle. I use a 0.4 millimeter nozzle on everything. I do have some 6 millimeter nozzles I've never printed with, but I did use a 0.4 millimeter nozzle at 0.2 millimeter layer height on most things, unless it's a figurine that I'm printing. I'll print at 0.21 millimeter layer height. I have stringing issues with different PETG. I usually have stringing that's involved with PETG. Let's see, what do I have as PETG I can show you? These are all PLA. What's PETG? It's not painted. I'm thinking. I usually get stringing on PETG, but I can get a perfectly smooth surface at a 0.2 millimeter layer height, or I can go to 0.12, but I don't see anything that I can show you right offhand that's PETG. Yeah, everything around me is PLA. Yeah, they're all 0.4, but I'm trying to find something I can show you that I know I printed in PETG. Look around. Let's see what I got here. All my Hypercube parts are PETG. Most of these models are all PLA. Okay, hold on. Let me go grab something. I know something I printed in PETG. PETG, the cat's PETG. Alrighty, here's a couple things that are PETG. This is ZYLTECH Yellow PETG. This was printed in base mode, 2.2 millimeter layer height, and it does not crunch like PLA. If this is printed in base mode and PLA and you try to do that, it's going to bust on you. Since PETG is more ABS-like, it's flexible. Don't know how well you can see that finish. It's kind of hard to see it, but that came out perfect in PETG. And this cap, this flexi cap, was done in PETG. And it came out real nice. There was very minor stringing on it. The layers look good and smooth. That came out really good. That's PETG. So those are a couple examples of PETG. I printed my Hypercube parts. A bunch of them I printed in 0.28, and they look terrible. So I had to drop down to 0.20, and they came out great. But yeah, I've never tried a nozzle. I want to review and try an all metal hot end. I want to change my all metal hot end and my extruder. Go to direct drive on my Hypercube. I just haven't done it yet. What material? The heated bed. Let's see. PETG, if you print them on glass, you've got to have glue stick or something in between it. PETG will bond to glass or mirror, and you will break it and you try to remove it. So you got to have glue stick down or some kind of an adhesive. When I print with PETG, it's on a Plex plate or it's on a TH3D build mat that I can remove with my scraper, which is a ZYLTECH scraper. These cost $20 off Amazon. I've had this as long as I've been printing. This edge is paper thin. It's not sharp, but it's paper thin. We'll get underneath any print. On a spring steel Plex sheet, you simply flex them when they pop out. On the new Ender 3 V2, on their build surface, when the print cools completely down, they usually come right loose. If they don't, you can barely tap it. It'll get underneath it. A lot of people will take the back of their spatula and just pop the model and it'll pop loose. Don't break it, but you can just tap it and it'll pop it loose. But a Plex sheet is probably the number one best thing they've ever thought of for 3D printers is a Plex sheet, and they're great. With PEI or textured build surface, the ones I'm currently using are from TH3D Studios. They sell different ones and they work great. So I've got PEI on one side and I've got textured on the other side. And if I print with PETG, I have my bed at 70 degrees or 70 C, and PLA 60 C. And then most PETG or PETG, I print at 235 C on the hot end. Yeah, if you're on glue stick or a build mat, your surface on the bottom should look perfect. This was printed on a, let's see, what did I print this on? I printed this on a TH3D build mat, and the bottom is perfectly flat. Then on a textured sheet from them, it would be little tiny ripples in it, like sand. It would have a nice bottom, look like sand on it. And soon I'm going to be getting in the mail. I'm going to be reviewing from Wham Bam a flex plate for my El Gumar's resin printer, and I'm waiting to get my taxes back. When I done my taxes back in January before this crap hit, I forgot one of my tax forms, a 1099, I think it was, from the state regarding my insurance. And because I forgot that form, I screwed my taxes up. They sent me a letter, and it's all screwed up. So at some point this year, I'll get my taxes, and then I can buy a bigger resin printer, or hopefully review one by a company. Let me pop that up in a minute. Let's see, Tang. I was wondering on the bed temperature because I saw it warp at 70 degrees, so my print is at 80 degrees. After finish a print, it does more hard to get it off from the glass. Yeah, I've never tried PETG at 80C. I always go to 70C. But if it's not sticking to the surface, I'd say crank up your temp, get a little more squish. Do not print directly on glass or mirror unless you have glue stick or some kind of an adhesive in between them. If you go directly on the mirror or glass, I haven't tried it, but from everything I've seen, you won't be able to remove the print. I know back in the day when I first started printing, when people were using glue stick and their print was done and they were in a hurry to get off the print off of glue sticks, so they could print something else instead of waiting for it to cool down. Because usually your printer bed gets down to 42C, it will release from glue stick 99% of the time. You can always take that and put that in the fridge or in the freezer, and because of the temperature difference, it would pop it loose, and then you can start the next print sooner. But nowadays, most people have build mats. The only thing I still use glue stick on a mirror is my one CR10 that is in my enclosure for ABS. That I use glue stick whenever I print ABS. But since I have so many printers, I don't need to use that printer very often, so it just sits there. And it's collecting stickers. I got plexiglass outside, so I put everybody's stickers on the front and on the side of it. That's why I say it's collecting stickers and not dust. So. Oh boy, getting tired, but I better not drink a Monster Energy drink. Like I said, I done that Friday, and then I was up all night long, and I couldn't go to sleep. So. Still love to print on glass without anything works perfect, but need to level the bed. So if you're printing PETG directly on glass, you know something a lot of people may not know, because I've heard that you can't do that it won't release. But I haven't tried it, so I can't give you my opinion one way or another. It's just everything I've heard, that PETG will bond to glass. So I guess I should try it sometime, then I can make a video on it. So then I'll know. And I'll see if it was a temperature thing, or I couldn't get it off, or if the build tack got under it. I guess that'd be a pretty good video. You shouldn't do it, but if you do, and then I could explain it. So that'll pop up here real quick. Oh, here it is. I'm not sure what type of glass that is, if that's something special or not. I'm not sure. Okay. I'll have to try it sometime. I've always heard that you can't go directly on glass unless you have something in between it. But I'll try it, and then I'll have an opinion. I don't want to preach just what I've read, because too many people do that. They read something, they think that is the word of God, and then they don't ever try it for themselves. So that's good that you say that. I'll have to experiment. Well, my opinion would be to put down glue stick before you, or use a bed mat of some sort to print PETG. A few other people are saying they can print fine on glass or mirror without a glass without it, but everything I've heard says you can't. So I don't know. I'd put down glue stick because I haven't tried it, so I can't give you an opinion on printing directly on anything unless it's a flex mat or a build sheet. Whenever I print ABS, let's see. When I first got into printing, I got on Amazon. I bought a whole bunch of Scott glue sticks like kids use in school, and these work real good. They're good for a few prints. I've tried Magic Goo, which the foam in the cap a lot of times will dry up and get hard. One time when I went to use this, I had used it on a print. It must have been moist. When I screwed the cap on, it stuck to the lid. So a couple days later, I unscrewed the cap. I turned it over to start doing the bed. I dumped the whole thing out because the foam was stuck in the lid and I didn't realize it. And I dumped it out everywhere. So I had to try to scoop it back up in the bottle. But I haven't used this in a long time. Then there's a product up in Canada. I done a video on it. It's green. You paint it on the bed, and it worked really good. And a lot of stuff people are using now that they talk about that's really awesome. Let me find it. I hear this stuff is a miracle of nano polymer adhesive. I hear this stuff is really great. There's a lot of different distributors that sell this. I know TH3D is selling it. I've heard nothing but good things about it, but this is a sample model. I've never tried it. But I heard that's been great for a lot of things. Let's see. I'm getting some PMs here. Let me see who it is. Let me type back real quick. Yeah, I'll have to read that later. Designer just came out with another model, and I think he's going to post it. He done the She-Hulk that's on my group, and Mary Jane. If you see Mary Jane on Facebook, it's an awesome model that he designed it, and he's just PMing me about posting it. Let me know the new price of it. Let's see. Does it mean that if I use any of those items, does it mean I must give up the mirror surface at the bottom? No, they'll still print perfectly smooth and flat. It's just that you have an adhesive or a bonding agent. When you release it and take it off, the surface of your print will still look perfect, if that's what you mean. When I first had my first two CR10s, I got rid of the glass and I went to a glass shop and I had them cut me a mirror almost a quarter of an inch thick, the thickness of the glass that came with the CR10. Then they beveled the edge and rounded it so it wouldn't be sharp. And two of my printers that I had build mats on, I put the build mat directly on that mirror because to me it was a flatter surface than the original glass sheet that it came with. 3D Print Creator for ABSA's glue sticks because it helps against lifting corners. Yeah. But I even more like to paint the bed with ABS dissolves in acetone. And then whenever I clean glue stick off of anything, I take it over to the sink, run water, get a scrubby, and clean it, get it nice and clean, and then I reapply it. Every time I get it done with a print on the Creality Under 3V2, a bed mat, or whatever my surface might be, I take IPA, isopropyl alcohol, on a rag, and I wipe it off. I used to buy alcohol wipes, like Clorox wipes, but then they were getting too expensive. So buying raw alcohol is the best way to do it. Just put a little bit on a rag and just wipe the bed off after each print or after every few prints. I do it after every one because you don't know that you're not getting residue from that filament or whatever you're printing with on the bed. You want the best possible adhesion, so it takes a second to clean the bed in between. Well, when glue stick is on, when I print with ABS, I do not wash the glue stick off after every print. If there's an area where it lifted off a bunch of glue stick, I just add more. I don't wash it off. I wait till it gets built up and it's a mess and I can't print on it, then I'll clean it and add more glue stick. Does a reflection exist after the by print? I don't quite understand the question. If it's a mirror, the mirror backing is on the bottom side close to the heated bed, and you're applying the glue stick to the top side. So no matter what surface you put on there, once you clean it off, you still have a perfect mirror. It's not going to discolor or screw the mirror up in any way, if that's what you're asking. It doesn't hurt it. The great thing about glue stick is that it's going to be an adhesive in between the ABS and the glass, and you can dissolve it with water. Therefore, the print releases very easy from the glass. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing that you're going to put on the mirror of the glass that's going to ruin the mirror of the glass. It all washes off. You know, there's, like I say, there's a zillion different products out there that are different types of bonding agents for printing, and they wash right off when you're done. Some of them you wash off right away, and other ones you just keep adding to it until you have to clean it up. So, and usually, most of the time, you can get a handful of prints out of any adhesive you put on there. You don't have to keep reapplying it every time. A lot of adhesives, like this green stuff, I used to get out of Canada. I don't remember the name. Like I said, I've done a video on it. When you paint it on, it smelled like mint, like spearmint gum, and it actually lift off the bed, and that green stuff would be on the bottom of the print. I'd take it to the sink and wash it off, but then you can see where it pulled up off the mirror, and then I would just repaint it on that little area and keep printing, and it worked really good also. 3D Print Viking, hello. I sure hope you join me, Viking. I've been streaming for over 2 hours and no one's joined me. So if you have time, Thomas, please drop in. Let me post you another link and maybe you'll drop in. But if you're busy and you can't, I understand. I was going to stream for another hour, Thomas, and I was going to stop because I'm watching the Cowboys play at 5:20. But anyway, just sitting there answering questions. Anybody has any 3D printing questions or hobby questions or anything about anything? I'm here to answer them the best that I can. I'm not an expert on anything. I just know what I do, and that's all I can do. There's a few people in chat, Thomas, that are printing PETG directly on bare glass, and I've always heard that's a no-no. But if it works for them, I guess I'll have to experiment sometime and try it. And then while I'm doing it, I'll film it to show why it did or didn't work. But I've always heard you had to have a bonding agent in between the two so it will separate, but I can experiment. Old Conundrum, how you doing? Hey. Glad to see you. If you guys want to hang out, I just posted a link. I'll be streaming till 5 o'clock because the Cowboys are playing at 5:20, and it's football season. I guess that's why not many people have dropped by today. A lot going on. Okay. Well, thank you anyway. Maybe next time. I'm going to be live Wednesday night at 5 o'clock. I'm having Chris Taylor on. Nerese from Today's 3D Print will be on 5 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday. Going to bed. It's almost 1 a.m. here at night. Bye-bye. Great stream again. Thank you very much. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'm going to, like I say, be doing live streams multiple times during the week, and then I have a guest on every week. So you can probably see me streaming 2 or 3 times a week. Hey, if I get bored, maybe 4 times a week. And then I try to keep videos and content coming out. So I really appreciate you stopping by. NFL, what's that? Yeah. Preseason didn't exist. We got to miss all those games. But the Las Vegas Raiders, and I've never really been a Raiders fan, even though they moved to Vegas and they built a big stadium here. But they beat the Panthers a while ago, and they actually played good. They weren't screwing up plays like I seen last year and the year before. They played great. Jason Witt from the Cowboys is on their team now, and it was a good game. It was good to watch. So I'm hoping the Cowboys do better too, but we'll see. They'll be on after a bit. So anyway, throw me some questions or jump in a chat. If you're on Facebook, please leave a comment. I would appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, please like and comment. I'd appreciate it. Comments are welcome. It keeps me running my mouth. I keep talking about something if you keep commenting. Trying to mention a holder of silicone ice tray. Can't hold the darn thing without spilling it. And I think I showed, if anybody's new here, I showed off my dogs earlier. Here's my two great buddies. That's Nikita and Sandy. Sandy's on the floor and Nikita's on the couch there. And here's my messy hobby room where I'm talking at now. It's a living room in my house. And it used to be a living room. I hate to think if I lived in a one-bedroom apartment what the living room would look like. I guess if I wanted to watch TV, I'd have to go in the bedroom because I'd probably have the living room in the apartment as a studio. But thank God I got a 4-bedroom house here. They're small bedrooms, but at least it's 4-bedroom. That's not messy. Well, it's disorganized. Let me say that. They'd probably say disorganized. Like all my spare parts and tools, I got those little drawers that you pull out. They're not organized. I have random stuff in different drawers, and my tools aren't real organized. My garage is a complete mess. Well, it's kind of organized. It's just, I don't know. It's a mess. So anyway, but whenever I get filming on the floor or pieces of, raft or something, when I break it off, I got to go around the vacuum cleaner and pick things up here and there. It's fairly clean. It's just not really neat. And then usually whenever I live stream, if I'm wearing a ratty old shirt, I usually change it and put a better shirt on. For my live stream Wednesday, I'll shave my face so I'll look better, and I'll try to put a better shirt on just to try to make it look better. So, but I won't be doing this all night. I'm not going to say what that is regarding, but I thought it was funny if anybody knows. Vehicles in a garage? No, vehicles are out in the sun in the driveway. A garage is for stuff. I only have a 2-car garage, so it's full of stuff. It's got my CNC out there and a big welding table and a couple benches on each side. But yeah, if I was rich and I had a 3 or 4 car garage, I could have a couple bays for a workshop and the rest for vehicles. But I just park in the driveway. Or you're hitting the wrong buttons on your phone. The small bedroom, everything is in the living room? Yeah. Okay, so your hobby room is your living room along with the TV and your chair. Or you might have a couch. I just know that you have a chair. Yeah. Well, you got to make do with what you have. I used to be an apartment dweller forever and ever, and then I eventually got a house. What's great about living in an apartment, it's very easy for you to up and move somewhere different and change your environment or where you live. Once you own a house, you're kind of stuck. And you can't just pick up and sell it real quick and easily move. So be thankful you're in an apartment because it's very easy for you to jump around and be wherever you want. Hey, Dan. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I noticed in Jim's picture from his birthday when he had his hair pulled back and a ponytail, I made a comment on Facebook. He should stream like that. It looks good. It looks good. But if you want to pop in, Dan, I'm going to be here for another hour. At 5 o'clock, I got to get off because I want to watch Dallas, and hopefully they'll win. Yeah, we got Dan, Old Curmudgeon. Scott Latine is here. Viking is here. Let me go back up, see who else is still here. 3D Print Creator, I think he just left. Tang Williams is here. Well, I'm not sure he's here right now. I'm just scrolling back up. But let me restore my chat. Yeah, I don't know why I wanted to stream. I was going to stream later tonight when I could probably get more people to drop in, but I realized football's on later, and I said, well, I asked my wife, how long is that going to last? She said, about 4 hours. I'm thinking, well, shit. by the time Dallas gets over, and everybody will be in bed in the U.S., so I need to stream now if I'm going to do it. So that's why I figured I'd just jump in. Dan, not jumping into a stream or being online, that's amazing. But that's fine, no problem. I'll be back on Wednesday when I have Nerys on. Marcel, how you doing, my friend? I'm always going to remember Marcel as long as I live. He's the first person that donated to me in Super Chat. And I'll always remember that. I appreciate that. It's like you start a business and somebody gave you your first dollar and you put it on the wall. I need to make a Marcel plaque and put it behind me that he was the first person that donated to me on Super Chat. I think I'll do that. That'd be something I can design in Tinkercad. Yeah, Dan has a house full of women and cats, and so I'm surprised he's not bald. But if anybody has any questions regarding hobby stuff, 3D printing, building, pretty much anything, I can probably help you out. I'm not an expert on anything, but I know a lot about everything. Unless it comes to firmware, then I don't know much about firmware. I know how to work with firmware a little bit here and there, but I always ask for help because I get lost or something I missed. I just can't figure it out. So I ask friends. And then when they can't figure it out and there are authorities on it, then it's like, well, Big Tree Tech screwed something up. So I'm pulling my SKR 1.3 V2 that I just bought a couple days ago out of my CR10 I put in it. I started filming a video. I can't get the firmware to compile. A few other people that know a lot more about it than I do can't get it to compile, and they're having trouble with it. So I got on TH3D's website yesterday or the day before, and I ordered 2 of Tim's easy boards. I'm going to be putting both my CR10s, 32-bit boards. I burned up my affiliate money to buy those. I just had to pay for shipping. So I'll be putting those in both my CR10s. And then the Big Tree Tech board, I'll save it for something else. So I'm not going to get on Amazon and try to return it. It's $20. I'll just eventually put it somewhere else. So, well, I got an Ender 3 down here on the floor that I've never built. An original Ender 3 I bought about a year ago off of an auction house here in Vegas that has a bad board in it. Maybe I'll put the 1.3 in it. And then I'll just, I'll check out Chris Riley's video or Teaching Tech for things that I don't remember because I'm a forgetful person. And even though I might do something 10 or 20 times, I don't remember necessarily the steps or what I exactly did. So I always pull up the video on my screen while I'm working in firmware to confirm what I'm doing and to verify it. It usually makes it easier. And I really appreciate all the content creators that make all the great videos they do. We all love you. We all watch each other's stuff. And, it's awesome. So everybody helps everybody. Yeah, last night I believe it was Marcel was screaming really late. It was like, I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning or something here in Vegas. I got up, I think it was last night. I got up during the night and he was screaming really late. And I think he was screaming earlier too. I pop in throughout the day on YouTube and watching this and that and see different people screaming here and there. And quite often I forget when it was, but I was watching 3D Print Belgium earlier. He was building a printer with his wife. One thing I did notice, though, that I think they should improve upon when they do their videos, 3D Print Belgium, she should read chat more rather than, here he is. Hey, Dan.
What's up? Just leveling a bed. Figured I'd pop on since wife and the kiddos are all in the living room doing whatever they're doing. So I figure I'll pop on with you for a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah, just manually leveling a bed, something I haven't done in a while because I took the ZYLTECH off this one because, I put the TH3D board in there and I felt it would be kind of sacrilege to put a ZYLTECH on a TH3D board. So, yeah, so that's what I'm working on. Just getting it in here. Just trying to level everything out.
Brody Wallace was just going to ask about the Big Tree Tech XTR Mini V2. Is it a true plug and play, or do you have to mess with the firmware and put it on?
You got to mess with it a little bit.
I'd say watch Teaching Tech's video and Chris Riley. They done 2 videos on that, and they will explain how hard or easy it is. That'd be the best.
Yeah, it's best bet is ask yourself this: do you feel comfortable compiling Marlin? If you feel comfortable compiling Marlin, then go for it. If you haven't messed with it with your stock board, I would recommend maybe doing some homework before you make a decision, because no matter who you go with, no matter what you get, there's going to be some firmware work involved. And if you're not comfortable with dealing with firmware, you're not going to be happy with the outcome, because it ain't going to matter. It ain't going to matter how well they spell it out. If you can't figure it out, you can't figure it out. And it's not trying to deter anybody from doing it, because I think everybody should upgrade their shit. That's just me. I mean, stuff. Sorry, Jerry. I keep forgetting to run yours. I got to be a little more nice. But no,
well, here's how I fix that. You see that, guys? Now you can't hear him, so I can just mute him.
Yeah, but no, I just, like I said, I mean, I think everybody should modify their stuff, but I do think that before you go modifying your stuff, you should research, find out what it is you want to upgrade, and then watch YouTube videos till you're so burnt out on it that you don't want to do it anymore. Then you'll probably be ready to do it.
The problem, Brody, that I had is since Big Tree Tech didn't have firmware they already modified for the CR10, they have an example file for the Ender 3. I was putting Ender 3 firmware on the CR10, and then I'm just going to go in and change its dimensions, for the build size and the height of the Z. But I couldn't get it to compile. I was missing a file, and two friends of mine on YouTube, they were going to compile it, and one couldn't do it. The other man worked on it all day. And it's like there was something wrong with the Big Tree Tech's firmware, what they had modified in Marlin. He couldn't get it to compile. So I came to a point where I said, you know what, thank you. Don't mess with them, or I'll just order this other board. So according to Chris Riley and Teaching Tech, Michael down in Australia, they got it to work fine. So I would suggest watch both their videos and then make a determination what you want to do. But what I tried to do wasn't working for me with that board. So
yeah, it's all going to be in personal preference. I mean, find out what your printer is doing, find out what you want it to do. If it can't do what you want it to do, find out how to make it do that. And then, like I said, just research, man. It's the boring answer, but it's the honest answer. I mean, don't just rush into something because it sounds cool unless you can afford it. I mean, if you're the kind of guy who can just keep throwing money at a hobby, and if you break something, you're like, I don't care, I'll just buy another one. If that's how you are, spend your money, man. Do what makes you happy.
If not broke, don't fix it. If your printer's working perfectly fine and you just want to change the board because you want NeoPixel lights, as an example, I would say don't change your board and find another way to adapt them. If it's working fine, don't fix it. If you have an extra printer, there's a kitty.
Yep.
If you have an extra printer that you're working on, you want to tinker, well, then go ahead and tinker. But I wouldn't take apart your main printer just because you want to mod the board if it's working fine for you. The reason I upgraded the CR10 about a year ago, my one CR10, the board went out. I was printing one day, the Z wouldn't raise, the screen is all Chinese and blinking on and off, and one of my stepper drivers had died on me. And you can't replace the drivers on the Creality board, so I wound up ordering another one off Tiny Machines out of Texas. I put that in it, and then here it is about 6-8 months later, it's doing the same damn thing. The Z was dragging on a print, it wouldn't raise, the screen is all Chinese and blinking on and off. The probably driver went bad, so I pulled out the board, put in the Big Tree Tech board. I figured, well, I'm not going to put another Creality board back in it. And then I started having trouble, and nobody could compile it for me. I couldn't get it to compile, so that's why I ordered a TH3D Easy board. I'll just go with that. So it's an expensive board, in my opinion, but as everybody says, I'll try it and we'll see. And I'll do it on it when I get it next week.
Yeah, I'd say, or you could do the llama way of doing it. Once you get it fixed, that's when it's time, or once you get it working good, that's when it's time to fix it. Yeah. The llama way of doing things, Once it works, just put blue tape on it. It'll work better. Or you'll mess something up and you'll be pissed off and spend an hour trying to figure out why it doesn't work and realize it's because you're 2 layers higher than you normally would be because you put the blue tape on and didn't adjust.
Hello, Andrew. How you doing?
Mr. Andrew S. What's up, good sir? How are you?
If anybody would like to drop in, I'll post the link again. I'm going to be here till 5:05 because Dallas Cowboys are playing at 5:20, and I want to watch Dallas Cowboys. But I've been streaming now for 2 hours and 24 minutes. So if any of you would like to drop in, you're welcome to. And I was going to say earlier when you popped in, Dan, 3D Print Belgium, the only thing I see they should do different about their streams, his wife was reading random chat, but she wasn't really replying to chat or reading the comments to him while he was working. So he couldn't see what people were saying what. is that she should read the comments out loud. That way he can hear them if he's not reading them. But other than that, it was a good stream.
Oh yeah, I was watching. I had it running. I had to leave, and I left before your stream started, so I didn't realize you had started. And then I got home, and they were finishing up, so I watched the very end of it, and then after that, it said starting next, and it says starting your stream. I was like, oh, Jerry's streaming. I was like, cool. So,
I went on early after I announced it on there. It's like, oh shit, Dallas is playing later, so I figured if I'm going to stream, I have to do it now. I can't do it after Dallas. Because most people in the U.S. are going to be sleeping by the time Dallas is done, based on live in the country. So I figured I'd start it late, or start it when I started it.
Yeah, I think I'm there. I'm going to see here this last spot, and then if I'm good, I'm not going around again. That'll do it. All right. You know what? Bring it back home just for shits and giggles, and then or not dirty talk. Sorry. All right, there we go. Done.
But Brody, one thing about an SKR board, if you do buy it to upgrade something that's working perfectly fine, if it doesn't work, you didn't spend a lot of money, you can take it back out and put it on the shelf till you figure it out.
Yep.
But if it's working, I'd say don't upgrade it just to be upgrading it.
Yeah, my reasons for upgrading were I wanted the silent stepper drivers more than anything because the Under 3 and the Under 3 Pro come with, the standard board from Creality, so it's only got the 4988s. And with me having two printers sitting right next to me when I'm printing, when I'm sitting here doing stuff, I didn't want these things just screaming.
Hello.
So, Andrew, what's up, buddy?
Oh man, I'm a bit knackered today.
So yeah, you sound a little off.
Yeah, going over a few groups to do with sales of companies coming in and trying to get into the groups to then try and sell their products. And we're going over with all of the admins of how we're actually going to start sorting that now. Because we're kind of fed up of just people spamming, like all of these Chinese sellers just spamming everything they can in the groups.
Oh, yeah.
So we're now trying to sort that out. And I've been doing a big project.
David Pretzel, if you can't see the link, I can PM you with it, but I posted it again.
Yeah, Mr. Petzel, come on in, man. Oh, by the way, my wife is down here. If she gets up to move around, she hasn't been feeling the greatest. She's been dealing with some issues, so she hasn't been feeling the greatest. But if she gets up off the couch, man, I'm going to show her the menu. And she I might be coming out to visit you there because it's a 2-hour drive, but, every now and then we need our date night. I told my wife, I said, part of the problem we've been having is we haven't had time to get out. So
since people are popping in now, and I've been streaming for 2.5 hours, and I said I'm going to quit at 5:10. If we have enough people here and we're going strong, I'll just keep streaming. I got a TV I can see on the shelf, and I can mute it. No reason.
There you go.
We're having fun.
Yeah, sorry I'm a bit late. I was kind of going over the forum stuff with the admins and speaking to my Missy, and I saw it pop up, and I was like,
hey, David.
Say hi.
Yeah, earlier some people in town in the stream were talking about the Pet Spang, the different versions. If you guys are still watching, here's the designer, David Petzel, right here. Yep. So if you're still on the stream, here's the man to talk to you about anything.
Yep. As a matter of fact, after our chat there, David, the other night,
yes,
I'm actually going to be switching. I've been using the Bantam mount for a while. I had the Hero Me before that, and then I had the Bantam mount. And the problem I have with this Bantam mount on this thing is, and I was thinking about it more and more, the problem I have is the piece that he prints or has you print to hold it to the plate for the enders. It's just a printed part, and the tolerances aren't very tight. So when you put everything together with this big 50-50 or 50-15 fan on here, the whole thing does this. And then when it comes down, when you start printing, you can watch the whole thing. It's very small, but it's just enough that when you start to get the flow coming out of the hot end, as it starts to build up, it'll actually tip the head back. And it's just enough in some cases I found where it throws off my print or puts this weird kind of like, I don't want to say artifacting, but like you'll get the weird like blobs where it starts to blob up and you get the kind of not as nice smooth wall, but it's not like a, what am I trying to say here? It's not ringing. There we go. It's not necessarily ringing. It's the blobbing as it's moving and as it's lifting up, as it's going back and forth and it's blobbing up across. Yeah. So I've noticed that. And again, it's nothing against the band mount. It's been okay, but I'm actually looking at switching over to your mount. So just so you know, I'm probably gonna be switching the hot ends over here soon. So,
Well, I also have the Evolve. That's what I use. That's this one. This here. It's set
Okay.
up for the if you're looking at direct extruder. Let's see if I can get it. If you're looking at a direct extruder, this is made for the Arrow, the Titan Arrow, but I have it on the CR10. That's just the regular Titan, and the Evolve is kind of the next step in the Pets Fang line. Our engineers, I have one engineer that works with me, and we designed this to the outflow ducts sit a lot further away from the hot end, so you don't have any residual heat that's going into that PLA or that PET-G, so you don't get any. It doesn't get loose on you over time. Both of those that are on my machines, they're probably 2 years old. They're in PLA. All of my machines I run direct extruding on. Not because I can, because I think that I print mainly really high tolerance machine parts, and that seems to give me the best finish and the best tolerances.
okay.
The number one thing everybody has to do when you put a 50-15 fan on a hot end, underneath the little sticker, take off the sticker, get a hot glue gun, and glue those wires right there. There's like a little plastic slot. The wires are up underneath it. Put hot glue right there, because wiggling back and forth will break your contacts, and then you're going to kill your fan. So always hot.
My other question for you, good sir, and you've probably answered this question before or many times, but the name Pets Fang, how did that come to be the decision for the hot end? I'm curious, man, because like Pets Fang is cool, but how did it come to be?
My last name is Petzel.
Yeah. So you just kind of did a play off that.
That's fine.
Everything was a Fang. Okay, everything that you got online was a Fang. Okay, this is a Fang, that's a Fang. Mine was the first plenum. So when I was designing it, I didn't think about it at all. I just said, okay, this is just going to be another Fang, and all of a sudden it just took off like crazy. And there's not really a big story to it. And now everything's called the Pets Fang.
Yeah, I was going to say the Pets Fang is kind of.
It's like Kleenex. Everything's Kleenex.
Yeah.
No matter what the tissue is, it's all, hey, do you have Kleenex? So it's like I said last night, I'm at 1.2 million downloads. So it's
1.2 million and one, because I just downloaded it.
1.2 million and one.
And all those people that didn't donate, you haven't made hardly anything off of, and it sucks if people don't.
Oh, that's okay.
Involved with all the detailed paperwork and all your specs, they should throw you $5 for every time they download it.
Oh my God! If I had $5 for that, I'd be a 5 millionaire, wouldn't I? I'd be an 11 millionaire. I'd be a 6 millionaire.
The only thing I have trouble with, I've mentioned before on the Pets Fang, were the two screws on the side of the side of it screw in on both sides. Because I printed an ABS, I broke both of those tiny bridges, and I had to put super glue on them. So maybe I should have printed them at a PLA like the Llama says he did, or PETG. Maybe those little screws wouldn't have broke those little bridges.
That's possible. Have you printed the newest version that has the nut capture feature in it, that has nuts?
No.
So you're screwing the most recent one, which is still 2 years old. It has cutouts where you have a 3 millimeter nut that goes in the back side of it.
I've never seen those. I'll have to re-download it and look at the file.
So you're not really there's not really any chance that anything will get loose. Plus, over time, the PETG and the PLA will lose its threads. So I kind of quit designing anything that had threads that were cut into the PETG, into the material itself, and I designed everything with a captured nut feature on the back.
This guy right here that's downloaded at least 10, he's probably going to donate you at least $5, I bet, sometime today.
Oh my God!
Or when he gets paid.
Thank you, Viking. That you're a good man.
No, he didn't say he would. I said he would for him.
Oh, okay.
That was just a hint.
Viking, you're still a good man.
Yeah.
If you're using it, if you're using it, I appreciate that. It's the karma. The karma is, I try to explain this to my family about the 3D community. 3D community is a lot about open source, and I don't have a problem with that. I'm not really hurting for money. It would be nice to have additional, so I don't. I put thousands of hours into the design, literally. And I also have a couple of guys, one engineer that helped out with it. So and then I've got, like I told you last night, I've got 3 55-gallon barrels full of prototypes because I print every design. I do testing with every design. I make sure that every design the fitment is correct. So that takes a lot of filament. I mean, that's 50, 60 rolls of filament I've gone through just in thin prototypes and changing things around. So there's a cost involved, but it's nice that it's nice that people are using it and seeing a big benefit. That in and of itself is, there's a lot of good to that.
Andrew,
What's that?
What are you working on?
It's a secret project, but I can kind of share it because it's my design. My mate's, he's called Lawcraft. His name's Nick Brown. He's doing a sculpture of Abe from Oddworld, and I've designed an entire 3D printed display for it to go on.
Wow.
And I've just realized I've made a boo-boo. I forgot to add keys onto one of the sides. So let me get this down here. So pull it back. Which side is that? That's meant to have keys on it so that it can fit into this bit. But for some reason I overlooked it. But that's just the base.
Looks like diamond plate, sort of.
Yeah, it's got diamond plate, and then if you have a look, it's the actual Oddworld glyphs.
Wow, that's cool.
So that's 4 pieces of this one part. This is the base.
That's nice.
Then I've got the upper plate with another plate that goes on top of that, guard railings. Then I've got what I've been printing today. I haven't got the main body done. But if anyone knows the Abe games, these sit on here for the rings. But if I put this down here, then people will understand it's the teleporter from the game, the doors that used to open up in the game. So I've made that as well, and it's got it's got a hole in it so that I can print the top globe that goes on top of it clear, so that then when it's all together, it actually has LEDs going all the way through it as well. So it all kind of goes together into one big portal. But I've got, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pieces out of 57 pieces. But look, I've changed my nozzle to a 0.6, so a lot of them get done pretty quickly.
Hello, Betty Boo.
Those bottom pieces, 14 hours each. So it's going to be a long print.
I've never printed with a 0.6 nozzle. I had a couple that was given to me, and I was going to print a helmet like Nico does with a lot of his helmets, but I wasn't sure in all my exact settings. And I think I downloaded one of its profiles, but I don't remember if I ever used it.
It's good if you want something that isn't going to be 100% quality. It's structural. It's really, really strong.
Yeah.
But the quality of it, I mean, like, if you're not afraid of sanding, I mean, it's not bad. The layer lines on it, it's not bad. I mean, there's some support bits that are at the bottom there that I've cleaned off, but I mean, you can, if the light will pick it up, you can see the layer lines.
Yeah.
And you can definitely feel them, but see, sanding them, because it's 0.6, getting a sander on it and flattening them off is super easy.
This is 0.6. I do everything in 0.6.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about last night about the door stops that the women steal.
I still think that if you can mount an air freshener inside the body and you pull the tail and it squirts,
that'd be perfect. That'd be cool. That would.
Yeah.
But I get I put our name on the side of it so that when people do steal them and they put them on their mantle, they'll just feel a little bit bad.
yeah, stolen from, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do everything in 0.6, and like Andrew was saying, the
layer lines on that
incredibly strong.
So you can slightly see the layer lines on that, but I mean, really, it's if you've got like surfaces, like top surfaces, you can see the layer lines. But if you sand it, it's so much easier to sand as well, and it fits nicely. So I mean, like your layer lines. This light will pick it up.
That's PETG?
No, this is PLA.
Okay.
I've got PETG down in the box. I've got loads of PETG.
This is some PETG I printed just today, and that's in 0.6.
Okay.
And that you can see that those are the layers right there.
Yeah.
And you can see that, and you can see you see the shine variation when you get to this point.
Yeah.
You see how it's glossier?
Yeah.
You can see it right there.
Mm-hmm.
This area is where the cooling has kicked in, and it actually takes some of the surface anomalies out of the equation. So it does change the appearance on a gloss PETG.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
David,
like that.
Andrew S. and Dan.
That's support. So I mean, like even support is strong with it, but I mean it comes off easy. I mean that's support.
Yeah.
And I mean that shows you how strong 0.6 is. But the thing is that with this, if I get a screwdriver underneath the support and I pull on it, it just pops off straight away. I don't have all the little stringy bits that are stuck and it fusing itself to the model. It just comes off so easily as well.
Yeah, I was showing earlier on a video. I did this vase a while back in PETG in base mode, and because it's PETG, it's not going to bust like PLA would if that was base mode. So,
well, plus it prints, exponentially faster. You get your prints in half the time.
yeah, David, your mic, I've noticed since you've been on, occasionally it's like staticky or something. I don't know.
Oh, I got that friggin' radio on again. Let me turn it on.
Yeah, it's not constantly, but it's like. Take care, Viking. Thank you very much for hanging out.
See you later, Thomas.
Yes.
Oh man, my kids, they're all going
Is
crazy.
that better?
Yes.
Yeah, David, as I mentioned the other day, I've got Chris Taylor. Nerese is on Wednesday at 5. After that stream, I'll get a hold of you Thursday or Friday, or probably Thursday. I'll message you and see if we can work out something for the next week.
Yeah, that'd be fine, Jerry.
Okay. Yeah, Lama says he thought it was your mic and not the radio, but that's okay. Well,
I put the mic up a little bit. Does it sound better?
Let's start talking. We'll see.
How about down here?
Yeah. Let's try it in a different position. We'll see.
Get a little higher. How's that? How's that? Does it make me sound like a munchkin?
Hey, Llama, why don't you come hang out for a minute? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, Llama.
Loops, and you're playing with blue tape. That's fine. You can do that on camera.
Yeah. Dirty Llama.
Yeah, remember Larry's talking. Larry likes home automation. Yeah, back in these old movies, back in the day, before we had cell phones, and there's all these automated things in the movies, and now we're pretty much there right now with everything. You can have Google or Alexa do almost anything for you.
You guys get out of there. Come on.
Yep. Oh.
Did I finish what? No, I didn't take them off yet.
Come on.
I couldn't pull them off my hand.
Yep.
The filament stronger than other filaments. Yeah, I don't know. Just do something different about it.
I don't know what my kids are talking about. My kids and wife are talking about. They're all weird.
What are you printing?
What am I printing?
Crazy cat.
Yeah, no kid.
You're a kitty.
No, I'm printing a case for, which actually I just realized my one camera here is off. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm printing a case to go around the controller here on the Ender 3, and then it'll have it has a spot underneath it for me to go ahead and put my hold on a second, kiddo, to put my Raspberry Pi underneath of it. So I'll have that underneath there. Just a way to kind of tidy things up a little bit.
I need to get my lighting changed, don't I?
Larry's 64. Okay, he's older than me. I'm 56. How old are you, David?
63.
63. So how do you feel at 63? You feel like you're 45?
You know, a year, about 6 months ago I did, but this whole COVID thing hit, the whole thing with the restaurant, and now I feel like I'm like 70.
Yeah. Stress.
Well, yeah, and just not being able to do anything. You know, that's kind of the. I shouldn't even say that because I probably don't do enough anyway, you know. Yeah, that's the bad thing about having all this magnetic material around here. You don't want to get it too close to your laptop.
If anybody in chat watching on Facebook or YouTube have any questions, please ask. They're very welcome, and we'll do our best to answer them. And if we can't answer them, somebody else in chat will. And the man in chat called Printing Llama, he will have an answer for anything you ever ask. And if you want blue tape,
yeah, anything you wanted to know the answer to and didn't, Llama's got the answer. Sorry about that. My wife was informing me of some changes in the family, some changes of members of the family.
She's pregnant?
No, God, no. If my wife can do that, then we'd be millionaires. I'm just saying, because I'd be suing a doctor, and so would she.
Hey, Llama, how you doing?
Llama?
So, want to see this secret project?
What's the matter, Llama?
Inception.
Damn, they're frozen.
You should talk about other people.
I wasn't talking. Hey, I wasn't talking about you behind your back. I knew your ass was in chat.
You're funny.
I know I'm funny looking. That's what my wife tells me all the time. So
So the llama core just shit the bed.
the llama core just shit the bed as you put the Max Micron up for sale.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Sorry.
Yeah, most of my printers I've got pies on with Octoprint, individual printers, individual pies.
Yep. Larry, that's
going out.
That's where I'm at. Yeah, I am using the Wise cams. I did for a little while there have them flash with the webcam server software, and I had them plugged into the Pis. But because of the way my internet's set up, it's a pain in the ass for me to get in because I got to go from I'm part of a wireless network setup, and it's one of those ones where like the provider gets the public IP, and then a bunch of us inside share it.
You're big. Show everybody.
Same spot every time. And it's not the spot, it's the amount of time come to figure out. After it's run about 4 or 5 hours, it just starts giving me errors constantly. And I check temperatures and everything. It's not overheating. It just don't like to run more than 3 or 4 hours.
It's not the SD card?
Huh?
It's not an issue with the file on the SD card? Not getting bad
There's
signals?
no SD card. It's Duet.
Yeah, okay.
It's on the board.
I used to have a trouble with a printer, would get to a certain spot and always screwed up, and I don't remember what I did to fix it, but
Yeah, no, this is a time frame thing because I've done. First, I thought it was a height because it's the same height, and these are 2 different files. This is actually smaller, lighter, remodeled, redone, and I did this in Cura, so I know it's not. I was like, oh, maybe it's a thing with Idea Maker. It isn't because it's done in Idea Maker. This one's done with Cura. It's just a time frame thing because I can do 350 millimeter tall vases with no problem.
Have you got active cooling on your steppers?
Yep. And you actually don't need them. They say not to with the Duet. That's the other thing I think is bullshit. But it's got the Duet thing has a thermal readout. It tells you what it is. It never gets above 32 C.
Did you read it?
You actually can, in the Duet control panel, it tells you how hot the board is.
Look at the film and Dominic would have loved this.
Oh, Jerry, I've put up my screen so I can show you what that final piece should actually look like. And I'll pop that up.
I'm going to put my burned up
Right, so
Big Tree Tech board on it.
oh, share. I'm sorry. Hold on.
I got teeth. Oh, check that out.
No, no.
So
Abe's Oddworld, yep.
yeah. So there's the teleporter. That's what those rings are.
Is that what you were showing earlier?
Yeah, and here's the Soulstorm Brew bottle. What's getting resin printed. Then I'm going to mold it and recast it with the tints. That's what you were looking at earlier. What is the bottom grates?
Wow.
Nice.
And the bottles hold it up. And on top of here, that's why it's got a hole here. There's a big dowel that's got to go in. And then his 1-to-1 life scale bust goes on top of this entire platform.
Nice.
So it all breaks down. I mean, like in here, there is a secret compartment.
Well, it's not a secret anymore. We know about it now.
Oh, yeah. Let's find out which one.
Not so secret compartment.
The not so secret compartment. Yep.
Yeah, the not so secret compartment. So switch that off. And that one off. There's a battery box that goes in here. And then that goes to the light up here. The top, what would you call it? A conductor pod on the top, what will light up. And then each one underneath here has a hole for an LED as well. So the bottles will light up, the little light on the teleporter and the top of there will light up. So that is all hidden inside the teleporter as well.
Wow.
So it's going to be cool once I've got it all printed. It's just taken a while, obviously.
Who remembers this?
Goes the driver.
Remember when that blew up? Come on, focus, baby. Smoke. I'm hoping it's not the board. That's going on the armor core, which is what I actually originally got. The hell is all that noise? Ow. Hey, dude, I need your email or something. I went searching the other day and couldn't find your email. Or are you on Twitter?
You talking to me, Llama?
Yeah. I just noticed you just put your headphones on while I was in the middle of talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
My wife just yelled at me because it's too hot in the house.
He's on
And then
Facebook, Llama.
I'm on Facebook, Llama.
Oh, what is it?
Just give me a message. D Petzel,
Same thing that's on the name right here?
right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Because I searched that and it gave me nothing.
He's on my group. No, not everybody.
You could go to Iowa River Power too. Our restaurant, Iowa River Power at G.
DEP or DPE.
It's the same address. Just use it at gmail.com and just send me an email.
What? You're confusing me. I'm old. I can't think that fast.
I'm
use-
going off.
David, put it in private chat on StreamYard.
So this is for a candle maker who wanted a natural bus.
I type in D-Petzl and all I get is diesel.
And that's the release agent that's on it at the moment. So that's one that I modeled for her. And there it is.
Looks good.
So this was a quick one that I just made up. I used to make candles, so it dried a bit too quickly. That's why it's got all the spots all over it, because it was put in the fridge instead of just leaving it for a natural dry. But it was just so that I could test the mold that I made of it. And that's the other one where it's burnt down, so I could burn it. So I could see how it would burn, because as it burns down, it comes over. So then obviously it dribbles down, and it doesn't flow over each side of the neck. It should flow down the front. And that's the way I modeled it, so that it would work in that way. So yeah, I got that done as well.
Nice.
Llama, just private.
Yeah,
private.
I got it.
Okay.
Add friend. Cancel request. Is that your wife?
That's my daughter. One of them.
Oh.
I got 3 daughters and a son.
Wow.
Those are my cars.
Yeah.
The 2 cars that are behind there. Those are the ones that I restored.
I like the blue one.
Blue one's a 66.
Yeah, I know. I used to drag race back in the 70s and 80s.
Well, look at my 67 then. I've got a 67 Camaro that I've owned since 1973.
Yeah, good for you. I don't even want to look because you'll just piss me off.
Dan, are you still streaming on a Wise Cam?
I'm not anymore. I'm using XSplit for the I'm just using XSplit for the
Camera feed.
For the camera feed for the printers. That's it. And that's it pulls those in. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, I'm using Logitech right now for the webcam. I'm sorry, I'm putting custom I'm putting
Really
some custom supports in Idea Maker, because that's the slicer I was told that all the cool kids are using these days. So
That was on Idea Maker. I love it now. Like I used to use Bruiser Slicer all the time, but see the supports could never get them off. No matter how many different changes I did to them, they just would not come off. So like all of these pieces I made, so they all just fit together. So I didn't have really tool prints constantly going. So each one of these is keyed, so they can all go together. And once they all go together, then they create the entire like puzzle basically, so they can make it all fit together. What means that you're not getting the time of height on top of it, because if everyone knows in 3D printing, the higher it is, the more time it takes. So if I can print it in pieces, if one piece messes up, then I can just reprint that one piece. But because I'm printing large quantities at once, if one piece does mess up, then it's fine. But if all of them mess up, I've got to start all over again. But it's going to be a lot more quicker than printing them all piece by piece by piece by piece. As I say, like 57 pieces. Oof. Take forever.
Well, I'm going to give my dogs a bone 1 second.
Or you can use the sequential printing with Idea Maker, right?
Yeah, I know. But see, doing that, I'm trying to put it onto my, because I only do it with my micro USB. I've got a nano USB that I use in my printer. I don't connect
in the file.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes when you put it on these, it doesn't recognize the actual file after the sequencing, so it doesn't do it properly. I did that once.
It's a standard decode file. It should see it without a problem. All it does is instead of going layer by layer by layer, it just goes and then goes over and says, drop down to home again and then start over.
Right. You mean individual? Doing it
Yeah,
individually?
sequential printing.
Oh, right.
You
Yeah.
can look it up in Idea Maker, because then if you have an issue, the way their sequential printing is, you can abort that part if it starts to fail, and it'll just move on to the next part.
See, I used to do that in Cura, but I had so many problems with the nozzle. Like when it was coming in over one part, it would come down and catch the first part.
It won't. Idea Maker, you program your hot end. That's the only downside of it. It takes like an hour to program Idea Maker for your hot end. You literally measure your nozzle, you measure your heat block, you measure up to your actual hot end extruder area. You measure all the way up to your X rails, and you put all that information in there, so it knows exactly where your block is, and it will not touch it. It'll go up and over it if it has to. It does limit your build plate because it kind of squares everything. So if you do one, you basically like on my 300 square, I get 4 pieces. I can't do like 10 because go over here and say, oh, it's going to hit, so it won't let you. But it's still way better. It's way faster. I've had parts where I went to print it, and if you print it layer by layer by layer, and it has to do the travel to each piece, it literally halved the time by going sequential and printing it, moving over, dropping down, printing it, moving back, dropping down, printing it, because it didn't have to travel so much in each layer.
Yeah.
Yeah, your in between travel is what kills you on a print. You can have one print, or you can have like 5 or 6 prints you're running all at the same time, and if you've got to constantly be moving around or hopping around, that's what's going to kill your sprint times.
Yep.
But
you can easily add.
So.
Yeah, you can easily add 5-6 hours.
Of just
to
travel.
A print. I mean, on a big print, you can add 5-6 hours of just travel time from that. So,
Same with supports, like going with like a Cura or Prusa slicer. If you use their stock supports and you have everything set up, like you can do it. You slice it without any supports, even if it needs it, and do the timing. And they'll usually be within like a half an hour as long as all your settings are same. But if you add supports and you do it manually with Idea Maker and only put in what you actually need, and then let Cura or Prusa slicer add it, it'll add hours to your print because it's doing all kinds of freaking supports you don't need.
Yeah. Unnecessary support.
Into it.
Yeah.
Hey, Llama, we were talking last night. You were saying that your Lexan sheet was pulling up in the center. I don't know. I didn't know if you realized that I actually bond the Lexan to
the metal.
Yes.
To hold it down.
Yes.
No, I know. I figured that. That's why I want to try it, because I like it. The Lexan was awesome with PLA.
Oh my god,
it holds
incredible for PET G.
Yeah, I never did PET G when I had the Lexan running. So
there's 2 people that were in chat. I don't know if they're both still here, but they were printing PET G directly on glass, and I thought that was a no-no. You had to have something in between, but both of them said they've done it fine. I've never tried it, so I guess I need to make a video on it. But I've never.
I have printed PET G on the Creality borosilicate glass that comes with it. I have done it.
Andrew, I'm glad you're smoking because I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, it can be done. I never had the misfortune of having it tear apart.
Could vape some up with everybody.
You called it for one guy.
I've lost back when I was printing on annealed glass. I lost a small chunk of glass that pulled out of the surface.
Yeah,
with the PET G.
Yeah,
you pulled a Joe Telling just on a smaller scale.
Yep,
sure. But we talked last night or the other night, and my very first job was I managed a large glass shop. So I got to go. I got to go to Corning, and I got to go to PPG to see how the glass is manufactured. And when you were talking about mirror being flatter, 70 years ago, mirror would have been flatter because it was all ground. Nowadays, everything is float. So none of the glass, the same piece of glass that is in your window now is the same piece of glass that they put silvering on and is now a mirror because it is all that uniform.
And now they use a spray mirroring solution instead of before what was actually a foil, a very fine atomized foil that they baked on. Now it's just a spray on. And they spray it all over it, and then they use an activator on it, and that does it. And it's amazing to see.
It doesn't need to be as flat either because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, the very first ones were molten tin on the back of mirrors. That's what the mirror surface was.
This is really sad, but when I worked construction, when they demoed the dunes years ago, I was on briefly on a news clip on a news channel. It was like PM Magazine or something. They showed a guy up in the tower wearing a hard hat and glasses. He's busting out all the windows, and that was me back in the day. But in order to bust that glass, you got to pop a little tiny hole in it, and then it just shatters and comes down. And I've done a lot of demo jobs where they had really thick glass. The whole front of the restaurant's really thick glass, beautiful glass, but it's too big and heavy to take the time to remove it, take it to another job. So I'd have to bust them down. Same principle, take a chisel gun or something and pop a tiny hole in it, then the whole thing will just shatter and come down.
Yeah, you know what works really good? I used to have to do the same thing all the time.
Drill punches.
Stupid, the little
Spring
using
ones.
for carpentry for or metalworking. They're spring-loaded ones that you
Center
put on
punch.
pieces
That's
of metal. Yeah, but they're like spring-loaded, but they're really heavy duty. And you just push the button and it like marks metal or wood with a real sharp point. Take one of those to the bottom corner of the glass, pop. It'll just. It does. What's good is it.
So the problem with that. The problem with that is that back in the day when I was doing the construction as well, all the glass was annealed, so there was no safety glass.
Plate glass, which is dangerous as hell. Yeah.
So we would have to go out and remove that from an opening where it just had one slice through the center of it, and then you had to walk that glass. Like if the wind came up, we might have 3 guys holding that glass, 2 guys on the end and 1 guy in the center. And if any kind of breeze came up, you had to walk with the glass. And I remember walking over a block with the glass because we had to keep it balanced. And you walk around, you keep wood blocks, 2x4 wood blocks. Everything gets set down on a block. You never put more than 2 blocks down. Glass you never put 3 blocks down. Everything's 2 blocks, 2 points to a line, you know. And I've seen guys get just ripped open right through the center of their gut from losing the glass. And you know, when that glass starts to break, you just don't move. You just let it.
Glass with suction cups. Those suction cups are amazing, but some of that glass, 2 or 3 people on it's heavier than a son of a bitch.
Oh, and some of that glass we had that was 130 inches tall. You know, we had to pull it out of a huge rack and roll it on a cart, and we had a table that tilted up, and you set it on the table, and then we laid the table down.
Yeah, no, doing demo, we never would move anything 1 or 2 guys couldn't move. It got busted up before we tried to move it. Because the other thing we used to do is we used to take a regular glass cutter and we'd use a spring-loaded pin, and we'd take a glass cutter and pre-cut grooves so we could kind of structure it where we wanted it to break. Then you just take a regular the old-fashioned glass cutter, and you just run it up and make lines in it so you get a proper.
That's how we typically would have to do it. So we could get a piece that was manageable.
Right. We always. I mean, obviously installing it, you moved it around, you use vacuum cups, and you take 20 guys. And actually, we used to have the guy I used to work for had a big, it was almost like a wheelbarrow with a big suction-y cup thing, and you could walk the glass around and not have to handle it. You know, it had it was like, the old sheetrock, the newer sheetrock, I should say newer sheetrock, cranes for putting ceiling sheetrock in.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
No.
I've worked with those on cranes before, and we had an insulated glass that had 5 cups on it, and we were taking it up, and it cracked, and it cracked right through 2 of the cups. So we were sitting there trying to pump the cups up as we were coming back down, the operator was trying to bring us down as fast as we could. We were up, I think we were up 3 stories, 4 stories. And as we were coming down, we got about, I don't know, maybe 10 feet off the ground, and then all the cups let loose and it just dropped the glass. We were in a construction lift. You know,
Yeah,
it was the exterior lift. So
Yeah,
the glass was between the building and us, but that was scary as shit because we were up there,
Snorkel
you know.
lift.
Oh my God!
Lift, snorkel lift.
It was a, I'm not sure what it's called. It's 3 kind of a tripod setup that bolts down to the ground and then it bolts to the side of the building, and then we had 4 guys in it, so we had to have an operator run it. We couldn't run it.
Spider lift. It's got one center boom and it's got a big long carriage that drives up the side of the building.
Yes.
Yeah, a spider lift or a heck lift. And there's a gap between the building and you by about 9-10 inches, and you should wear a harness on it. You don't have to, but you could fall in between it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Those are scary as hell. I had to chip the side of one of the Hilton buildings here in town, 35 stories, and you get up really high on that. Sure, it's bolted to the building and it's on the track, but it sits there and kind of moves around.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, we call those pump jacks.
Yeah.
Go 3 stories up on a set of freaking 2x4 pump jacks.
Yeah.
What now, mother?
Andrew, where are you from? My wife is wondering. I don't remember. UK,
Scotland.
right? Scotland.
Scotland.
I can't help you, mother.
Great accent.
What are you doing?
I'm up in Scotland.
Hey,
Fit like me.
What I love about the UK and a lot of places that have been around a lot longer than America is all this culture and buildings that have been around forever and forever, and they're still there. And in America, I mean, as soon as something gets old, they tear it down and build the next building out of stucco, depending on the part of the country you're in, like Vegas. Everything is styrofoam and stucco. It looks old, but it's crap. And then tear it down and rebuild it again.
So I watched, Andrew, I watched Braveheart last night. So what do you guys think of Braveheart?
Oh, it's a pile of
The old
shite.
original movie? I love that
The movie.
Yeah, it's a pile of
It's
shite.
one of my favorite movies of all time.
They actually leave out quite a fair bit in it. I mean, like, I originally was born in London, but I moved here years and years and years ago. I moved here when I was 13.
Bottle Junkie, how you doing?
And,
Good. How are you, Jerry?
and anyone who watches
am I
Braveheart
muted?
here just turns around and says it's a load of
No,
bollocks.
you're good, full. You're good, full throttle. What's up?
All right.
So,
Yeah.
Go ahead. I got to say thank you on your Ender 3 videos, or the Ender 3 V2. That really helped me out a lot in making my decision to get that, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you letting me come in here. I just wanted to say thank you. This I had an ANET A8 and I broke it, so I broke the acrylic frame. So I decided to switch it over to the AM8, and I needed a printer to print the parts out to fix the other printer. So I did some research, and that's how I found your channel. And I got to say, it really helped me out, and again, I really appreciate it. So I just wanted to pop in and say thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know I keep saying it, but thank you.
Yeah, I keep making videos. I keep trying to be honest with people. They're not scripted much. Well, they're not scripted at all, unless like the one video I did, I read off a teleprompter. But I mess up a lot. I repeat myself a lot, but I try to be honest and help people out best that I can. Every time I do another video, I try to get better at it. So, but thank you very much.
I know how it is. I got a small channel myself, so I know exactly how it is. And
post the link in chat, and we'll check it out. And
oh, it's all good. No, you're good.
I believe I already am
I'm
following you, man.
Boo Scotland.
Yeah.
Where are we? Boo
my
Scotland?
Facebook group.
it's all right. It's my business partner, Tony. He's taking the biscuit.
I kind of figured it was something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do a little bit of 3D printing on my channel. Not much. I got one video coming out, but I've been watching your stuff pretty regularly because like the Ender videos. So
there's a lot of people out there making a lot of great videos and everything. So like and subscribe to everybody. You know, everybody has different ways of doing things and different opinions.
Yeah, of course. Same with the motovlogging community. Like, it's,
Yeah, I was
it's
gonna
really.
say. Oh, go ahead, man. I don't mean to cut
No,
in.
go ahead. No, you're good.
I was just gonna say, yeah, no, I have actually seen some of your videos. I was not subscribed. I am now.
Nice.
So I am
Nice.
subscribed now. I'm gonna double check a couple of my other accounts. I could have swore I subscribed to your channel with one of my other accounts, but I guess I did not. So
Do you ride as well?
I got a Kawasaki Vulcan. It's the 900 special. It's the custom special
Nice.
edition. So
Great bike. Great
yeah,
bike.
it's a good cruiser to get on and go.
Once it got off your stream, Auntie Rana's here.
Yeah.
Full
The
throttle.
thing is,
Full throttle. Are you? Do you know vintage
I'll be
bikes?
back, guys.
yeah, I have a 72 Triumph Daytona I'm building right now. And then I've built quite a few bikes, but this is like my first vintage build.
I used to drag race an H2 750 Kawasaki, 1973. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the 70 H2, not the new one.
No.
That new one.
Two-stroke. Yeah.
Yeah. I want the RZ 350, the Yamaha. That's another great bike.
Those are not. Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that's one like why I got into 3D printing is 3D printing and motorcycles actually go together really well. You can make all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm still trying to learn CAD and all that. So
When I retired here in Vegas 6 years ago, I wanted to buy a Harley, but it's crazy. There's too many people hitting people on bikes here every week, running red lights, running stop signs, texting. So unfortunately, I'm not going to ride again, and that's sad.
yeah,
But I can't.
where I live is. Oh, was that Tom?
I said I'd be dead if I was riding motorcycles still. Every time I get on a motorcycle, I get on the highway, I'm like, oh, I'll be cool. Blah, blah, blah. Next thing I know, I'm 130 miles an hour down the highway. Can't help it. And that's why, nope, not going to have motorcycles anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I used to be the same exact way. And I was like, I'm never going to get a 1,000cc bike because I know myself too good. I'm going to use that bike to its full potential. And then I wound up getting a Triumph Speed Triple, which is 1,050cc. And I actually respected that bike a lot more than you and I rode that bike respectfully.
No,
you know, and
I
yeah.
like going too much.
Oh, I did too. But I love the track.
That's why I won't buy like a race car anymore. I won't buy a sports car anymore. I drive van SUVs, and that's
I'm not allowed to buy any power.
What channels are going to be on?
I mean, I used to do super bike racing. And yeah, well,
yeah.
I don't know if you hear it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I came off at 80 mile an hour and did the James Bond dive and went over on my wrists. This one was underneath me, but the bike, because I tried to stand stupidly enough, still going at 30 miles an hour, and I thought I could stand at that speed, thinking I was going slower. I had actually put a divot down in the dirt, and the bike that was tumbling behind me hit that and spun over the top of me. So luckily enough, I did do that. But yeah, I've missed both knees and this wrist. Yeah, you can kind of see it. It doesn't look right. I shattered all the way down here. I never got it fixed. So you can probably see it actually fused itself.
Hold on. Here you go.
So you can see it hasn't set properly. And then they said what they would have to do is cut all the way down here, snap all the bones on the inside, and then pin it. And then I'd never be able to use my wrist properly. So I was like, well, I can still use my wrist. I mean, it cracks quite badly. But it becomes painful. If I lift anything too heavy with it, then it becomes really painful. But you can kind of see the difference between the two wrists.
Yeah.
This shouldn't really be here, but it's all fused. All underneath around here is all damaged. But the best bike I've ever been on is a Bonneville 750. It was a T140, and it handled like a super bike. I took it at 70 miles per hour round a long bend. The only problem with it was it leaked. The oil that came off of it was bad, but it was such a nice bike. And I mean, I've ridden Kawasaki's. I mean, my favorite bike that I borrowed was a CBR 600 2008 version. And then I had a FZR 400 RR, and that was my baby bike. I mean, I bought that at 250 quid and did it all up. It was beautiful. And I miss that bike. I look for it every single day. I've actually got one of the panels from FZR 400 in the other room. But trying to get them nowadays in good condition, there's just, you can't. And even that, my Missy turns around and goes, I don't want to get again. So
my internet is starting to go in and out. So I got a storm coming in. I'm down here in South Florida. So, well, I'm going to head out. Thank you guys so much.
Take care. Thank
you. Have a wonderful day. Jerry, again, thank you.
Joining.
Thank you.
And you have a great one. All right.
Check
Bye.
out Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm having a guest on. And he was gone. Yeah, I got a steel plate and 8 screws in my right ankle. I hit the ground doing 35 miles an hour out of an airplane, and my foot went sideways. And anyway, and I'm afraid of heights. I went skydiving twice.
Well, I used to fly planes. I used to be part of the Scottish Gliding Club. I used to fly down south as well. Gliders again. I've flown 2 Piper Cubs, a Beach Eternity Sports Star, and a Bell 232, and a gyrocopter.
Nice.
My brother had a gyrocopter when I was a little kid. He got off the Nifty Nickel. He bought out of the paper. It had no engine, just a blade on top. He had his friend that went out to Dry Lake bed of the pickup. He pulled him with a rope at 30 miles an hour, and he tried to get it off the ground. I'm like, dude, if it would have came off the ground, you would have died. It would have crashed, and you'd be dead right now.
Yep.
Because it didn't even have an engine on it. He was just trying to pull it.
The thing is that they don't crash until they literally just they go, and then just boom, straight out the sky because there's no lift on the blades that bring them up. So
I have another friend that used to fly an ultralight, but he had a ballistic parachute, but that's only good if you're high enough for it to deploy and break your fall. So
I miss doing like my flying lessons and all the rest of it and going to gliding clubs. But I mean, I started RC flying. I was building balsa wood planes back when I think I was 10 when I first built one. And I was always interested in aviation. And I was told I would never fly a plane because I've actually got a divot in my eye. So I've got astigmatism. And because I'm dyslexic, like I was in the Air Cadets, Sea Cadets, and the Army Corps. And when you're in the Air Cadets, they literally turn around and give you the test, and you've got to do the tail test where you can tell what aircraft are just from a shadow of the tail. And I got 87% on it, what was one of the highest scores because I used to love reading about aircraft. I mean, I've got books full of boxes where I've spotted aircraft from years ago, so I was always interested in aviation. But once I got up in an airplane and was flying it, there's nothing else like it. I mean, I've never done parachuting. I was going to go do parachuting. I've done a short bungee jump, and I would not suggest that to anyone. That just scrambles your head. You feel like absolute garbage when you come down. But no, it's fun when you're going down. It's when you actually bounce back up and you feel everything. It literally feels like your brain is just smacked the top of your skull. Your eyes literally just water because you're like, what the hell is going on? But no, if you've never been up in a plane, I would definitely say, go buy a flying lesson or even a glider. If you want a better experience, go into a glider because you've got nothing that's pushing you. So you don't hear the propeller. You actually just hear the wind and the beep, obviously, because the beep tells you as to your altitude, your altimeter. When you drop down, you'll hear the beep increases, and that means that you're picking up speed. When it slows down, then you know that you're climbing and you're soaring on, obviously, the thermals. Because in Scotland, it's great because right where the flight strip is, they've got 3 ways of pulling you up. They've got the dolly, what is basically a truck on the opposite side. They hook you on, and it pulls you up with a car flying up. That's if, obviously, the winch is broken. Then you've got the winch, what is just an electric winch that just pulls you up, and you slowly but surely get pulled up. But the best way is via the airplane. They've got a nice Piper Cub that they take out, and they strap you on. And what happens is they get up to 2,000 feet, but they do what they call the jerk. What is before they set you off, they pull up extremely fast, and as you go up with them, they detach, and you both break off and fly across each other. And the feeling is amazing. I mean, you can push 2 to 3 Gs whilst you're doing that, because the pull off that comes off from it is it's amazing. It's fun. I would suggest it to anyone. If you've got a gliding school anywhere near you and you can afford just one lesson, just go do it. It's so much fun.
My uncle built an airplane. He spent around 30 years building an airplane like that, a World War I, had 2 wings, 2 seats, one behind another. And when he finally got it done, he was probably in his early 50s. The test pilot that flew it said that the engine was too heavy for the plane. It was nose heavy. He flew it anyway 5 times. He was out over the dry lake, took off from the North Vegas airport in Vegas. He was over by the California line, a dry lake bed. Witnesses said from the highway, it looked like he was coming in to land too steep. So my assumption is he lost his reference points, points around him to see where the ground was. He came in too steep, probably crashed the front landing gear. The plane flipped over, crushed the tail, snapped his neck, and that was the end of him and his plane. But he flew it 5 times and spent his whole life. That was his only hobby. As long as I was growing up, you'd go over to his garage over on Bonanza in Las Vegas, a major street, and he'd always be out there working on his plane or in his garage day after day for years and years. So, and I've been
Andrew,
up on the plane once. That was a blast. Chopper a couple times, and then skydiving twice.
Andrew, I sent you in the private chat.
1989.
There's a link to the Iowa City Aerohawks. I fly large scale planes, RC planes, and that is our group and our field.
Well, have you ever heard of the Super Decathlon?
We've got several pilots, actual full-scale pilots, and I've flown in a Super Decathlon with a pilot that was a fighter pilot for the Air Force, and he did 4 of the guys in the club own this Super Decathlon, and he flew loops, rolls, everything while we were up in it. It was just amazing plane.
Yeah, I've got the massive model, the RC model of the Super Decathlon just sitting in the garage. I've got a few park flyers that I just take out, just have some fun. But no, I mean, I used to do big petrol models. I mean, I had the Texan, they used to call it. Is it a Tuscan T1?
Tuscan, yeah. The
T160T,
looks like a P51.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
It was massive. I mean,
Yes.
The wingspan was the same size as my door. And most doors here are, I think, they're 10 foot. And it it had 2 glow starters, 4-stroke engine on it. And that thing was noisy as hell. But the problem was that you had to have a gold license. Around here, you have to have licensing for what grades of aircraft you can fly. And I was only a silver. I didn't have gold. So I used to take it to the airfield and get one of the pros to go and take it up. And I mean, he would do barrel rolls.
Glider twice.
What's that, sorry?
Don Pham said he's been in the glider twice in the Air Cadet. The feeling was awesome.
Yeah, it is amazing.
In the United States, I've got several models that are 140-inch wingspan, so well over 10 feet. Here in the United States, you can fly anything. The wingspan really doesn't matter. It's all about weight. And you have to get a special license to fly anything that is a jet that runs on Jet A fuel, or that is over 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And then you basically just get a license, and it has to be approved, and you have a commission that comes over and takes a look at the model. They approve it, and then you're allowed to fly it for a year, and then you have to get re-upped every year for that particular model.
It's very similar here. You get your bronze, silver, and gold. But it's all classifications. So first off, you start off in your trainer, what they call you a banana. Basically, you're classed as a banana, as they call it. They will put whatever they can on the aircraft, the trainer, to stop you from crashing it. But you can start off with electric and then jump onto petrol, and that means that you can go up to your silver class. But because I always started off with petrol, when you go from site to site, they can generally track what you've been doing. So then basically when I came to Scotland, they just go, oh, you're a silver class. You don't have to go through all the stuff. But here it's, you get your classification, then you get told when you can fly. So you get an actual specific date and time that you can come over and fly with. So you get put in groups. But not only that, then you have to pay for site fees, what is actually using the site, because obviously the nitro fuel that is coming off of it, they clean all of the air paths and all the rest of it. But you also have to pay your modeler's tax as well. So it's basically insuring your aircraft as well. So at the end of it, you're paying maybe £500-600 a year.
Oh no! Are you kidding me?
Yeah, a year for
Wow.
insurance.
Wow. So we have the AMA. The AMA costs me about $70 a year, and that's basically the insurance. And then we have our flight field. If you go to iowacityaerohawks.com, you can see our big flight field there, and we've got so many members that it costs us about this last year, I think it was another $70. So and we can use it anytime we want. So and we've got a nice, now we built all the facilities there, so our fees pay for that. But it's roughly $140, $70 for the AMA that we have to have, and then $70 for a year's membership with the club. And that's and we can use it anytime we want. We give each other the combination to the front gate. So, and then we've got stands there so the public can come watch if they want to. We have every Thursday and Sunday night we have big get-togethers, and that's when guys come out and fly, and we're open to the public. And then, I can go there at 10 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock at night. And as long as I've got the combination, I just drive in and I can fly by myself or with somebody. What kind of radios are you guys using? What brand?
Usually it's Spectrum.
You're using Spectrum?
Yeah.
I just switched over. I had like 4 DX9s, and I just switched over to the Jetty DS16. And so I've got a couple of the Jetty DS16s now. Man, dude, those are nice radios.
There's another there's a really cheap brand. It's F-Sun or F something or other. I can't remember what it was called. And they've got really good radios. They're really cheap, but they're really, really good. And
I know what you're talking about. And one of them's the Horus.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You use your Spectrum receiver with it. So you can actually pair it to it.
Oh, wow.
And it means you get better signal off of it. And I was like, oh, there was guys who were talking about it because everyone's like, oh, yeah, but Spectrum's
Fly Sky.
I'm going to have
that's the Fly Sky. Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed in StreamYard, it'll show we're currently watching on both of the Facebook groups or on YouTube. Right here at the top of my screen where you guys can't see it, I've got one angry comment, not a comment, but an angry, like a thumbs down from on Facebook, and I see the man's name, so I'm gonna have to PM him and ask him what I do wrong. Why did you give me an angry symbol? So,
that angry symbol has been there before I even got on.
Okay.
It's been there for 3 hours. And if you look, the same guy that gave you the angry symbol asked questions, and you answered the questions on Facebook.
Okay. I don't know.
So I don't know if he's angry about something else or.
I just ignore those people. I don't even.
As I can be from what my experience allows me to tell you. So.
Okay, why won't Platform IO frickin' work?
Jerry, you're a pretty angry guy.
Well, I look mean.
Isn't he though?
I'm not
mean. So damn angry and moody and bitchy.
Moody, bitchy. Yeah, Llama. Yeah, I'm with Llama. Jerry, you need an attitude change.
You're the most calm, skill-level person I know.
The way I look has kept me out of fights most of my life. Most people do not fuck with me because of how I look. But now I've gained weight, but usually I was bulked up more before I retired.
Tang Williams, yes, you do have a color blindness test. That is one of the first things they do on your medical. Once you go in, they can certify you in a different classification of how colorblind you are. It depends on what spectrum you are. If you cannot spot warning lights on certain aircraft, they will not allow you to fly.
And that makes sense. You know, you would have no idea what the orientation was of any of the,
I mean, you can get aircraft that are specifically made for colorblind people. It's becoming a more common thing. But it depends on what classification of colorblindness you are. I've not actually looked into what the colorblindness charts are, but you can get corrective lenses. A lot of people see it. And you can put those on and you can see colors quite nicely. But once again, you have to look them up. I mean, you should be able to pass it quite easily. I mean, classifications now have dropped a lot more than what they used to be. I mean, like with my stigmatism and my dyslexia, I can still fly single and twin engine aircraft. I don't have a private pilot's license. It was too expensive for me to purchase, but I can still go up on a trainee and they already stated how many hours I've got. So, you know, I can still fly under those with color blindness.
Let me interrupt real quick. You guys in America, Channel 3 Dallas is right now, they're singing the anthem. Showed all the cheerleaders wearing a mask. Only a few people were kneeling. But anyway, Channel 3 Dallas.
Who cares?
Okay.
I gave up on football like 25, 30 years ago.
You mean rugby?
Yeah.
Football.
It's
I love rugby.
It's a bunch of spoiled brats that are overpaid. Almost all the sports now are.
Well, not everybody on the team makes millions of dollars.
How much freaking money they can get.
Not every player on the team makes millions of dollars like the other players.
Professional sports have just become ridiculous.
I mean, that's kind of a thing.
Are we gonna get in? Are we gonna get into politics now?
Oh no, definitely not.
That's sports. It's not even politics.
I mean, like, sports to me is if you play a game and it's friendly enough that you can get on with everybody on the pitch, fair enough. But don't turn around and tell me that you're a professional sports star getting paid $10 million to get onto a field to kick a ball. Because to me, it makes no sense. If you think of firefighters who go and jump into burning buildings every single day and how much they get,
exactly,
why are they not getting that? Because, you know,
okay. Amen, Andrew. Amen to that, dude. Yeah, I think
the owners and the sports teams and the networks makes billions of dollars, so that needs to trickle down to the players. The counties and the states that fund the firemen don't have the kind of funds to pay them that kind of money. But the professional teams, they've got plenty of money and they could pay them better. So those players should make a lot of money. Girls soccer in the U.S., they don't make nothing compared to men's soccer. And I love watching the women play. They're great, but they're not getting paid equally like the men. And if a woman can do a job a man should do, she should make the same money. They should say, here's a job description. Here's what it pays, man, woman, any race, whatever. If you qualify, you get the job. Here's what it pays. Anyway, that's my rant.
Yeah. I was going to say that's my rant. You know, it's always boggled me. It's why I don't actually like a lot of sports, is because they get paid too much. And in my view, if a firefighter is going to go in and risk his life for peanuts, basically, why can someone who is, don't get me wrong, you have to run really fast. You have to push your body to the physical limits.
Yeah.
But you're not saving people's lives. You're not risking your own life doing it. It makes no sense. And to me, sports is just
teachers and everybody, if they have more money, then they should pay more money. A lot of them don't have enough money, so they can only pay what they pay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's what irritates me. You've got these billion-dollar companies that basically pay socialized branding. I mean, who wants to eat a Subway from a footballer or, you know, a soccer player or rugby? You know, all these things. Someone who plays tennis is eating a Subway, and that's then promotional work where they get billions of dollars for it. It's like, it doesn't make sense. Why isn't it going to, you know, a teacher who teaches children who are going to grow up to then work in your facility? You know, you've got people who come out of school and work in a Subway. Why are you not giving money back into that to show that the franchise that you've got is actually feeding the community and feeding more generations to come. That's where the money should go, not branding a tennis player to eat your Subway on TV.
Yep, I agree. But that's how they make money.
Yeah,
And
it's,
I don't have a problem with sports stars making money.
thank you, Amanda.
You just don't need to make ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But if the team that owns it is making ridiculous amounts of money,
Yeah.
then the people that pay them that
Here's
money,
the idea: instead of charging me $300 or $500 to go sit and watch it,
yeah,
why don't you charge me $50 and still make a halfway decent living?
yeah. I'll never go to a game here in Vegas. I can't afford a ticket.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. Like, friends of mine wanted to go watch the New England Patriots. And they're like, oh, let's go get tickets. And it was like $250 for nosebleed seats. I was like, no freaking way. I don't like football all that much. It's, I like going to sports events. I actually like watching them live. I dislike hockey intensely, but I used to go to the Hartford Whaler games all the time because it's more fun being there. You know what I mean? Any sports event is, I don't care what anyone says. They're like, oh, you're watching on TV. It's not the same. You don't have the same atmosphere as you do when you're sitting in the stands. But I'm not shelling out hundreds of dollars to go sit there and watch somebody play. It's a game.
Well,
I don't get it. There's more important things in the world to do besides play freaking games.
I've been streaming 3 hours and 41 minutes, and I can't watch Dallas and talk like I thought I could. I'm going to go ahead and watch a game, but I streamed for almost 4 hours.
Good for you.
And I'll be back Wednesday at 5, and then at some other point I'll come up with another hangout. It looks like I'm going to start doing more hangouts constantly because it's a lot of fun.
I'm going to probably go take a shower and crawl into bed.
But everybody here, and everybody watching in chat on YouTube and Facebook, thank you very much. And I'll see everybody back here soon if you want to come hang out. And everybody have a great night.
Please.
Hey, guys. Nice seeing y'all.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
I'm gonna run thing here. Let me find it. Where in the hell is it at? Where's it at? Let me go ahead and exit this.